Len Casper.
From Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, we are set for the Hyundai Leadoff Man show here on WGN Sports. Cubs and Cardinals, the first of 15 meetings here in 2008, and just a half game separates the top two clubs in the National League Central. And hi again, everyone. I'm Len Casper. Welcome to the Leadoff Man here in St. Louis. It is a beautiful night for Cubs baseball. Tough loss for the Cubs yesterday. They've dropped 5 of their last 7. The Cardinals are playing excellent baseball right now. And as we check in on the National League Central standings, the Cardinals have the second best record in all of baseball, behind only Arizona, while the Cubs are just a half game behind St. Louis. Again, these two teams will meet 15 times in 2008, and the Cubs have had a lot of success the last 13 games last season. 10 of them went to the Cubs, including 7 of 9 here at Busch Stadium. Kind of a strange scheduling quirk. The Cardinals will not come to Wrigley Field until after the All-Star break in August. When we come back, the Cubs made an interesting roster move helping out their bullpen. But first, as we head to break here on the Hyundai Leadoff Man show, we'd like to recognize our Chicagoland Hyundai dealer of the game, Hyundai of North Aurora. Hyundai, the right choice. Log on to myhyundaichicago.com. We'll be back.
And you can hit it ball. Yeah. Got a shot if he gets it there in time. Yes. There's a drive. Out of here. Oh, baby. Here he comes. Save. And this ball game is over. Unbelievable.
What are you doing?
Is that the Grand Slam?
No.
Introducing the Build Your Own Grand Slam. Choose any 4 items and make it your slam, starting at $5.99.
Benny, real breakfast, 24/7.
Gear up for the new live-action film, Speed Racer. Thank you. In theaters May 9th. Go to esurance.com to see exclusive clips from Speed Racer.
Hi, we'd like 2 fudge brownie temptations.
Mom, just make it 1.
I'm surprised you wanted to share.
Actually, I don't.
Pardon me, ladies. This is compliments of the gentleman in the donkey shirt.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Fall in love with the new fudge brownie temptation at Dairy Queen, topped with gooey fudge, moist brownie pieces, and whipped topping.
The Superstation is America's home for baseball. Jim Thome in Chicago look to go deep against Jays ace Roy Halladay. White Sox, Blue Jays, Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on the Superstation. It's great to be home.
The Hyundai Leadoff Man, brought to you in part by Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs, and by Hyundai. See your local Hyundai dealer today. Hyundai, the right choice. Log on to myhyundaichicago.com.
It's the Cubs and Cardinals game 1 of this weekend series as the Cubs start a 6-game trip that'll take them not only here but also to Cincinnati. Well, the Cubs today are going to bolster their middle relief. They have brought up 37-year-old right-hander Chad Fox. He comes up from Double-A Tennessee. What a story. We'll talk more about it during the game, but he has not pitched in the major leagues since 2005 when he was with the Cubs. He was working with a high school pitcher at a sports complex over the winter. His arm felt good. He decided to make one last comeback attempt. Kevin Hart will go down to AAA Iowa and will join their starting rotation. A couple of superstars in this matchup, Derek Lee and Albert Pujols, both off to incredible starts. We'll check out the numbers when we come back on the Hyundai Leadoff Man.
Next, Reno 911. The squad is looking for a few good men.
So if you're tired of sitting in the back of the squad car and ready to try out the driver's seat, sign up today.
Reno 911.
Tonight at 1 a.m. Eastern.
I mean, sure,
I help people save money on car insurance, but few folks know that I support wildlife conservation too. You going to eat all those? Well, you are, aren't you? You're just going to go to town. All right, well, I'll make this quick. I'm teaming up with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. I'm going to be making the rounds to get the word out. Are those clams? I love clams. Do you want to offer me any? Apparently not.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
See you tomorrow, Steve.
Do not let her get young, you know? It's Tony Stewart! Tony, get the camera! I've got the camera. Oh, Tony, he's a huge fan. Ready?
Tony, you okay?
Armor All wash, wipes, and tire shines. Go ahead, stare. Check out Tony's win in the Armor All card, armorall.com.
We got just what you need to keep your yard beautiful and weed-free. Let's start with fertilizer.
We're here because we've been there with the tools, products, and advice to get it done right. True Value. Start right. Start here. Visit truevalue.com/TV for a free $5 coupon. Print your $5 coupon at truevalue.com/TV.
What are you doing? Is that the Grand Slam?
No.
Introducing the Build Your Own Grand Slam. Choose any 4 items and make it your slam, starting at $5.99.
Denny, real breakfast, 24/7.
The Hyundai Leadoff Man, brought to you in part by Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. And by Hyundai. See your local Hyundai dealer today. Hyundai, the right choice. Log on to myhyundaichicago.com.
It's a battle for first place. The Cardinals a half game up on the Cubs, and arguably the 2 best first basemen in the game today will match up in this contest tonight. Derek Lee off to an incredible start, hitting .360, hit 8 home runs in the first month. Albert Pujols, teams are not really pitching to him, but when they do, he's hitting .365. He's already walked 30 times with just 7 strikeouts on the year, and Tony La Russa is hitting the pitcher 8th. So basically, after the first time through the order, the number 3 hitter Pujols acts like their cleanup man. Well, Lou Piniella and Tony La Russa have known each other a long time. Guess it was a late night for Lou last night. He's ready to go. Cubs and the Cardinals should be exciting. From St. Louis, next.
You sure about this?
Definitely, it's my treat.
All right. I'll just have a little something.
Whatever you want, Grandpa. As much as you want, please.
Okay.
Try Olive Garden's stuffed rigatonis filled with 5 Italian cheeses like mozzarella and Parmesan. Try new rigatoni with shrimp and creamy tomato Parmesan sauce, or rigatoni with sausage and tomato Alfredo, starting at $9.95, plus endless salad and breadsticks.
Thank you. Where'd you learn to be so generous?
I guess it runs in the family.
Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
It's the 5-minute challenge. Trigger spray versus new Roundup Pump and Go sprayer. With up to 5 minutes of continuous spray, Pump and Go kills weeds, not your hands. New Roundup Pump and Go. Hard on weeds, easy on you.
So yeah, I'm not just about saving people money on car insurance. I also love supporting wildlife conservation. I'm teaming up with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. That's why I'm here. I'm going to be making the rounds at a whole bunch of zoos.
You have no idea I'm down here. You can't even hear me, can you?
Oh, I think I pulled a muscle. Oh, it's probably in my neck.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
When you feel good inside, you feel good all over. Try Yo Plus for 10 days, and you just might feel like... Yo Plus helps regulate digestive health naturally. Compare it to Activia. Both have special digestive health cultures, but only Yo Plus has cultures plus fiber plus vitamins A and D. And Yo Plus tastes great. Get more with a Yo Plus coupon at yoplus.com.
What are you doing? Is that the Grand Slam?
No.
Introducing the Build Your Own Grand Slam. Choose any 4 items and make it your slam, starting at $5.99.
Denny, real breakfast, 24/7.
Season 2's outrageous New York auditions.
You're horrible. I'm gone. Bye, I'm spent.
American Idol Rewind.
Sunday at 8 Eastern. The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
Cub fans have invaded Cardinal country, and we greet you from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri for Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. Tonight, the Cubs and Cardinals renew their rivalry. It goes back to 1892. It's the first of a three-game weekend series here on WGN. Hi again, everyone. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. A tough loss for the Cubs last night, but the great thing about baseball, you just get right back on the horse and try to win a ball game tonight. It'll be left-hander Rich Hill against Adam Wainwright. More on the pitching matchup in a second, but Kosuke Fukudome will experience this rivalry for the first time.
Well, you know, Len, over in the Japanese professional leagues, every ball game is like a cross between the State Fair and Mardi Gras, so certainly he's used to the atmosphere surrounding a rivalry. He's done a real good job against the Central so far this year, and of course playing all those home games at Wrigley Field. He knows all about excited crowds.
They talk about momentum, and if Rich Hill can give the Cubs a good start tonight, you can forget about what happened yesterday.
Yeah, Lou kind of tweaked the rotation a little bit to get two lefties against the Cardinals. They've done considerably better against right-handed starting pitching, so very important for Rich Hill to get off to a good start tonight. Larry Rothschild, his pitching coach, wants him once again to be very aggressive in the strike zone.
Adam Wainwright is the ace of the Cardinals staff with Chris Carpenter on the DL. Career high in pitches his last time out, but he does get an extra day of rest.
Yeah, he gets an extra day of rest after throwing 126 in his complete game against the Astros. We'll see what toll that takes on Adam Wainwright tonight.
It's for first place. It's early May, but they all count. The Cubs are a half game back of the Cardinals in the Central. We'll have all the action coming up from St. Louis next.
Bud Light is brewed to give you everything you want in a beer. Never-ending refreshment, superior drinkability, and now the ability to be a fly on the wall.
I guess the game's over.
I'll be right back.
It worked! This is awesome!
Oh, why?
No!
Oh, why? Get it!
Becoming a fly on the wall no longer available in Bud Light. The superior drinkability remains.
Bud Light keeps it coming.
Dude, you're missing a wing.
Be careful, Jimmy.
I'm fine, Mom.
I'm bored. Can you hear me now?
Good, because we're going to need 2 rooms with king-sized beds and a spa treatment for my wife.
We test our network every day.
Spa treatment, honey.
So you get America's most reliable network, Verizon Wireless. This Mother's Day, get Mama Venus, or for just $99, get her a pink pearl.
From a guy's perspective, it's very difficult to kind of verbalize some things.
It's very difficult to sit down and describe yourself in, 3 to 4 sentences.
Dating sites give you a picture and a paragraph. At eHarmony, we do the matching for you based on 29 dimensions of compatibility. And right now, you can log on to eHarmony.com and review your matches all for free. Aren't you curious to see who you're compatible with?
Love is pure joy.
eHarmony.com. Log on today.
Right now on Expedia, save up to 30% on all kinds of summer adventures. And not just the run for your life kind. It's the Expedia Summer of Adventure sale with up to 30% off hotels, cars, cruises, and more. And if you're really feeling adventurous, play the Expedia Quest for the Golden Suitcase. You could win the ultimate grand prize. 2 exciting Indiana Jones-inspired adventures. Go with confidence. Expedia.com.
Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. The Chicagoland area Dodge dealers and the all-new 2009 Dodge Journey. AT&T. See what's new from the new AT&T. Visit att.com for details. The Illinois Lottery. Play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. By Pepsi, every sip gets you closer. And by Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today.
And tonight's Cubs broadcast on WGN Sports is brought to you in beautiful high definition, sponsored by Comcast. All right, Adam Wainwright, you can pitch. Soriano sends it to right in the air. This is a long run for Ryan Ludwig, and he makes a catch right in front of the barrier in deep right field. Soriano bidding for his third home run, but he comes up a little short. And now the rest of the Cubs Pepsi lineup. Pepsi, every sip gets you closer. Terrio with good numbers against Wainwright. He's coming up. Lee, Ramirez, Fukudome 3 through 5. DeRosa, Soto, PA 6 through 8. And Rich Hill comes in 0 for 7 on the year. Strike on Ryan. Cubs are 17-11. They've lost 5 of 7. The Cardinals were off yesterday. They have taken 4 of their last 5. Both teams have played a lot of games at home, and they've taken advantage. For St. Louis, they're 12-6 here at Busch Stadium. So 18 of their first 29 have been at home. For the Cubs, 17 of their first 28 have been at Wrigley Field. This is the first of a 6-game road trip.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Adam Wainwright, as you get a look at his numbers on the season, we mentioned coming off a complete game victory against the Houston Astros. Throws a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. He's basically fastball, slider to right-handers. Terrio lofts one to center field. Should be no problem for Ricky and Keel. 2 down here in the top. Against the lefties, he's more fastball, curveball, changeup. So 2 different approaches depending on which side of the plate the batter's standing on.
They have been without Chris Carpenter since opening day of last season. Wainwright was a starter, but then he became a short reliever. He ended up as their closer a couple of years ago, and he really has taken to starting once again. He faces Derek Lee with 2 outs. And nobody on, and there's a strike. Carpenter's coming off Tommy John surgery and probably won't be available till at least the All-Star break. Derek held up. Mike Everett calls the balls and strikes. That's a crew chief Tim McClellan at first. Mike DeMuro at second. Larry Vanover is over at third. Everett in his 10th season. He was an all-state music trumpet player back in the early 80s.
Well, there you go.
Now you know.
I like umpires that have some musical taste.
Well, 1-2 on the way. There's that big breaker. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And something you can usually count on from a Dave Duncan coach pitcher is the fact he'll save a pitch. Usually the first time through a lineup, he'll go fastball, slider, or fastball, curveball, and then break out the rest of his pitches a second time through.
2 fly ball outs. The last one on the ground, Brendan Ryan. And the Cardinals will come up against left-hander Rich Hill when we come back to St. Louis.
Good boy. Yeesh. Though very rare, some wild animals can be trained. Unlike Mountain Dew, which can never be trained.
Auto insurance wasn't something I used to get animated about. Until I switched to Esurance.
Paul is an actual Esurance customer. Here we go.
With competitive rates and quote-by-print convenience, Esurance makes it easy to save time and money on car insurance.
And don't forget, if you ever run into any trouble, special agents are here to help you 24/7.
Who knew I could be so drawn to my auto insurance company?
Take a fresh look at your auto insurance. Get your quote from Esurance today.
Be careful, Jimmy.
I'm fine, Mom.
I'm bored.
Can you hear me now? Good, because we're going to need 2 rooms with king-size beds and a spa treatment for my wife.
We test our network every day.
Spa treatment, honey.
So you get America's most reliable network, Verizon Wireless. This Mother's Day, get Mama Venus, or for just $99, get her a pink pearl.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals are doing it all offensively. They're getting a lot of production out of their outfield. Brian Barton is in left. Rick Ankiel red hot, 8 hits his last 3 games. We know about Pujols. Troy Gloss coming over for Scott Rowland from Toronto. Ludwig Molina is Tourist, the former Cub. They bat the pitcher 8th in this lineup. It's Wainwright hitting .313 and Brendan Ryan hits 9th.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Pepsi. Every sip gets you closer. Soriano, PA, Fukudome across the outfield. Ramirez, Terrio, DeRosa, Lee across the infield. Soto catching tonight for left-hander Rich Hill.
And a first pitch fastball strike at 90 miles an hour to Brian Barton. He's playing left. Well, you look at their outfielders, Bob, and other than Rick Ankiel, you have Barton, Chris Duncan, Skip Schumacher, Ryan Ludwig. They have really done the job. Collectively, they have the highest OPS among all outfields in baseball. That was an awkward looking swing by Barton as Rich Hill strikes him out. Good start for the left-hander.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Man. Fastball down the middle for strike 1, a big curveball for strike 2, and then a very funky looking defensive swing from Barton. That ball was well past him by the time he pulled the trigger.
Boy, and it was not anywhere close to where Soto wanted it. He wanted it up. But a little late kick, and he was able to get Barton. Now he faces Rick Ankiel for the first time in his career. 2 balls, no strikes on Ankiel. You'd have to say he's getting some pretty good pitches to hit with Albert Pujols behind him. (3-0) the count. Rich Hill starting for the first time in 9 days. And Ankiel walks. A strikeout and a free pass to start Hill's night.
Well, you might hear that a lot in this ball game tonight. The Cardinals and the Cubs, or rather the Cubs and the Cardinals, ranked 1-2 in the major leagues in on-base percentage. Each team has 6 players already in double digits in walks, so if the pitchers aren't on top of their game and throwing strikes tonight, could be a lot of free passes.
And if you're looking for why the Cardinals have been as good as they've been, going to your point about the on-base percentage, they have walked now 145 times, the most in the major leagues. And on the flip side, they've only surrendered 80. So their pitchers are not giving up walks, and their batters are taking them, and that's one of the big reasons why Tony La Russa's club has surprised a lot of people.
And they've surprised a lot of people early in the ball game. They've outscored their opponents 18-2 in the first inning this year.
The 0-1 pitch to Pujols. He checked his swing. Tim McClellan said he held up. And it's a ball and a strike.
Started and stopped on that high fastball from Rich Hill. Ooh, very close.
Both teams with a franchise record for wins in April. The Cubs with 17, curveball low. And the Cardinals with 18. A long look by Hill. Big leg kick, and he's going to toss to first. Ankiel back in plenty of time.
That's one thing the Cardinals have not done much of this year. Only 16 attempted stolen bases on the season. They've been successful 11 times. There's only about 4 other teams in the National League that have fewer stolen bases than the Cardinals. What a difference. Boy, when you used to play the Cardinals, it was a track meet. No question about it. Your pitchers and catchers were going to be tested when you came down here to play the Cardinals in St. Louis, but this is a little different ball club than your grandfather's Cardinals.
Certainly the '82 Cardinals fit that description. Playing on the turf, the artificial stuff here in St. Louis. Big pitch, 3-2.
Boy, normally you would think about a strike him out, throw him out, but Pujols just doesn't strike out very often. 7 times on the season.
To go along with 30 walks. His on-base percentage is .523. I'm not good at math, but I know that means he's getting on base more often than he's not. We'll see if Ankiel runs. He does on the 3-2 pitch, and it is ball 4. Waiting for the call from Mike Everett. Back-to-back walks. And it's Troy Gloss.
Giovanni Soto went ahead and made the throw to second base. Apparently he thought that pitch was close enough that possibly it could be called strike 3, so he didn't hesitate to throw on down to second base. Unfortunately, in the estimation of Mike Everett, it was out of the zone.
Milwaukee with an early lead. Ryan Braun, who had the game-winning hit at Wrigley Field with a 2-run homer in the first inning. But the Brewers found out today that Giovanni Gallardo has a torn ligament in his right knee. If you did not catch the ball game yesterday, Gallardo injured himself in a little collision. By the way, time was called. It was a bad toss back to Rich Hill, and Larry Rothschild will head out. Gallardo landed awkwardly on his right leg, and we were pretty convinced that he was done. This was in the 5th inning. Reed Johnson with a bunt attempt, and Gallardo landed very awkwardly, but he stayed in the game. Got through the 5th, pitched the 6th as well, and he could be out for the rest of the year. That is a very damaging blow to the Milwaukee Brewers.
Boy, and you assume he injured it on that particular play, but there's no guarantees. He may have just tweaked that right knee and then injured it as he went out to continue pitching in that ball game. We'll never know for sure, but you really have to tip your cap to Giovanni Gallardo to even go out there and attempt to continue to pitch in that ball game.
And I did see an update. The general manager, Doug Melvin, said the doctor said that going back out did not do any more damage, that it was torn when he landed. Derek Lee over into foul territory, makes a catch, and Troy Gloss is out. So that was a good mound visit. It resulted in a foul pop and the second out. I'm always thinking about stats. I wondered about broken bat statistics, if anyone would ever want to keep track. How about mound visits and what happens after that? That would be an interesting discussion.
You know, and that's something that shows up on the advanced scouting reports. If a pitching coach makes a trip to the mound, the old consensus used to be look fastball on the next pitch. Of course, that's not always the case, but advanced scouts mark down what the first pitch is after a visit to the mound by the pitching coach, just to see if there's any pattern that develops.
1-0 on Ryan Ludwig. The key here is to avoid contact. Ludwig has struck out 22 times in 68 at bats, but when he puts a ball in play, he's hitting .457.
Boy, and Ludwig has paid his dues. 8 full seasons in the minor leagues before getting called up last year. Played in 120 games in the big leagues here for the Cardinals and did well enough for himself that he's earned a job this year. Swinging a hot bat in the early going this season.
That almost hit him. He was able to turn away at the last second. And Hill in danger of walking the bases loaded.
Ludwig has to lean back out of the way of that high inside fastball.
The 3-0 is in there, 3-1. Now the 3-1 pitch, and he has walked him loaded. We'll do our best to help out with a pitch speed verbally, but we're not able to have our radar gun working here at Busch Stadium. So we apologize for that graphically. I guess they don't allow it here. Go figure. Cubs Cardinals. Come on.
Apparently they don't want our fans to fully enjoy their viewing experience.
So the bases are loaded for Yadier Molina. Ball one low.
89 miles an hour.
Yeah, they do not allow the visiting TV crews to have their own pitch speed gun. Molina 0 for 4 with 2 walks against Rich. Trying to find his command here in the first inning. It's 2-0 and Soto has to go out. This has been a recurring problem for Hill, really going back to the beginning of spring training. And there is action already in the Cubs bullpen. And again, he has not pitched in over a week. You could sit here and blame it on rustiness, but unfortunately, this is something that has been a pattern for Rich early on. He has walked at least 3 in every outing. With 2-0, 3-0.
Boy, and it just looks like he's not finishing any of his pitches. Standing very upright, almost recoiling after he releases the ball instead of following through and keeping his eye on his target. Got to finish your pitch.
Crowd up for a 3-0. That's a strike. Molina was headed to first base. Well, you said it, Bob. This is a tough matchup for a guy who has struggled with his command because the Cardinals have walked so much.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit to see Molina take again here. Even if it's strike 2, he's got full count with 2 outs. The runners will be in motion. And that's the situation he has right now. Yeah, personally, I think that's just smart hitting right there. That was a pretty good looking pitch to swing at on a 3-1 count, but now you'll have the runners all in motion, and Rich Hill has to throw another strike.
They are in motion on the 3-2, and a slicing drive foul off to the right. Lou has said repeatedly that he wants Rich just to throw the ball. You hear so much about pitchers trying to pitch. He doesn't want Rich to think so much, just wants him to throw. Let his natural ability take over. Another 3-2, and he bounced it up there, and the Cardinals get the first run without a hit. In fact, the only contact they've made was a foul out, and that's it.
Yep.
Wow.
Not going to watch that, not tonight.
Lou has decided that he has seen enough.
Can't argue with him. Face 6 hitters and walk 4 of them. That's not going to get it done.
27 pitches for Rich Hill. And it's going to be a long bullpen night for the Cubs. The bases are loaded. Michael Wirtz coming in.
Hi, we'd like 2 fudge brownie temptations.
Mom, just make it 1.
I'm surprised you wanted to share.
Actually, I don't.
Pardon me, ladies. This is compliments of the gentleman in the donkey shirt.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Fall in love with the new fudge brownie temptation at Dairy Queen. Topped with gooey fudge, moist brownie pieces, and whipped topping.
Be careful, Jimmy.
I'm fine, Mom.
I'm bored.
Can you hear me now? Good, because we're going to need 2 rooms with king-size beds and a spa treatment for my wife.
We test our network every day.
Spa treatment, honey.
So you get America's most reliable network, Verizon Wireless. This Mother's Day, get Mama Venus, or for just $99, get her a pink pearl.
With our 30 minutes, we reenacted a medieval war.
There was no dominoes in the 14th century.
But each of these pizzas was only $4.
Rubbish!
Domino's. You got 30 minutes.
Here it comes. Another huge deal from Domino's. Introducing the Domino's $4 pizza deal.
You got 3 or more 10-inch pizzas for just $4 each.
You got them hot.
You got them to your door.
You got your order online.
You got pizza, Tracker.
Michael Wirtz probably has never pitched in the first inning in the major leagues. That's a pretty safe bet. And he's going to face a former teammate, Cesar Izturis, with the bases loaded, 2 outs. The Cardinals without a hit. Rich Hill walked 4 and was taken out after 27 pitches.
Boy, and that's the kind of short outing that will force an organization to make some roster moves in order to get some healthy pitchers up here, because we're going to open up a whole can of bullpen tonight.
The Cubs did make a roster move before the ball game. Veteran right-hander Chad Fox was selected from Double-A Tennessee, and right-hander Kevin Hart was sent down to Triple-A Iowa. Fox is available tonight. Fouled back by Izturis, a switch hitter. 1-1. Really a great story for Chad Fox. The last time we saw him pitch, he walked off the mound in major pain at Wrigley Field back in late April of 2005, and he is back in the big leagues. Hopefully Kevin Hart can get a couple of things straightened out as he gets stretched out as a starter. Popped up. Terrio backpedals, and he made the catch as he fell down right into Felix P.A. I hope everybody's all right. I don't know if Ryan got hit in the face, but he was able to make the catch. It's 1-0 St. Louis after 1.
Charcoal invites you to slow down with new KC Masterpiece Sweet and Tangy Barbecue Sauce.
When you feel good inside, you feel good all over. Try Yo Plus for 10 days, and you just might feel like... Yo Plus helps regulate digestive health naturally. Compare it to Activia. Both have special digestive health cultures, but only Yo Plus has cultures plus fiber plus vitamins A and D. And Yo Plus tastes great. Get more with a Yo Plus coupon at YoPlus.com.
The Cardinals got a run on a bases-loaded walk, and Rich Hill was taken out. Michael Wirtz got the final out as Ryan Terrio got poked in the eye by Felix P.A.
Yeah, it looked like P.A.'s left hand came up as he was trying to break Ryan's fall and might have caught him in that left eye right there. Why not try catching the ball instead, Felix? You got a shortstop backpedaling out there into no man's land. Call him off and make the catch. Make it easy for everybody.
So Ramirez, Fukudome, and DeRosa will face Adam Wainwright here in the second inning. Bob, we talk so much about pitchers who struggle in the first inning. Ramirez swinging hard, and he fouled it straight back. Here's an example. Jeff Suppan the other night gave up 6 in the first inning, and Ned Yost had some action in his bullpen. He was very close to taking Suppan out. Suppan would end up going into the 4th. He gave up 11 runs that night. 8 were earned. That's hit well by Ramirez, but right at Ryan Ludwig for the out. If it's just a generic starting pitcher, he probably lets that guy find a way to get through the first inning. I think what's gone on with Rich up until this point prior to tonight had to play into his decision to get him out.
No question about it. I mean, because of Rich's recent past struggles finding the strike zone consistently with any of his pitches. Lou just didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel there. No reason to believe he was going to settle in and find the zone. So rather than let things get out of control early, he pulled the plug, and Michael Wirtz came in, did a nice job of getting that last out and limiting the damage.
That's a strike on Fukudome. 1-1 the count on Kosuke. He had a career high 4 hits yesterday, a couple of outfield assists as well against Milwaukee. And not to over psychoanalyze Lou's reasoning for doing it, I don't think it was a punishment necessarily. It could have been simply that Lou saw something that he just did not think Rich was going to get it back, and he doesn't want any more psychological damage done to a starting pitcher the Cubs are going to need as Fukudome strikes out. There's a very fine line when you talk about confidence in this game and how it can slip so quickly.
It's a tight slider down and into Fukudome. That's the one pitch that's seemingly given him more trouble than anything else. That hard, sharp breaking ball that starts on the inside part of the strike zone and then breaks down and in toward that back foot.
Mark DeRosa elevates, shallow center. Ankiel lays out, made the catch. He went headlong, got a bit of a late start, but was able to go get it, and that ends the Cubs' second inning. You know, Rick Ankiel, former pitcher, now an outfielder. He made a nice play. It's 1-0 St. Louis.
Who is Dave Chappelle? Really? He's Rick James, Lil Jon, Blackzilla, a Black Klansman, a Milkman, Tron Carter, Silky Johnson, Gallagher, Prince.
It's a celebration.
Chappelle Show, tonight at midnight Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Hey, Chip, need you in the wheelhouse.
Tenacious grip, no matter the conditions. Firehawk tires with Unity technology, only from Firestone.
With our 30 minutes, we reenacted a medieval war.
There was no Domino's in the 14th century.
But each of these pizzas was only $4.
Rubbish!
Domino's. You got 30 minutes.
Here it comes. Another huge deal from Domino's. Introducing the Domino's $4 pizza deal.
You got 3 or more 10-inch pizzas for just $4 each. You got them hot. You got them to your door.
You got your order online.
You got pizza tracker.
Last year, Expedia booked over 25 million trips worldwide. More trips than any other travel site. That gives you the power to get the best price. We guarantee it on each and every trip, including the one trip that really matters. Yours.
Go with confidence. Expedia.com.
Michael Wirtz to Adam Wainwright, and he lines one over Alfonso Soriano. This guy can hit. Might be a play at second base. Nope, he's safe. Wainwright now 6 for 17 on the year. He came in a career .310 hitter, and he's slugged .464 as a major league hitter. He's batting 8th. He's not batting 8th because he can hit. It's because Tony La Russa wants the pitcher 8th.
Well, if you're going to put him in the lineup based on how he hits, he'd probably be hitting 6th. That was a rocket line drive on a first pitch fastball. I always wondered that, Len. You know, usually in Little League and high school, the pitcher's the best athlete on the team. He usually plays shortstop or center field or first base when he doesn't pitch, swings the bat, runs the bases, and then somewhere along the line when they get into professional ball, because they spend so much of their day and
DeRosa can't get it. Broken bat hit by Ryan. They're going to try to send Wainwright home. Throw by PA. Popped out of the mid of Soto, and that allowed Ryan to get to second. He thought about third, and he's going to stay there. It's 2-0 Cardinals.
Clean base hit up the middle by Ryan with the pitcher running at second base. They definitely had a shot at home plate. Felix making a mistaken inning, overthrows everybody to home plate, allowing Ryan to advance into scoring position. Boy, that's not the first time he's airmailed the cutoff man this year. Somewhere along the line, you've got to harness your talents and use them to help your team win a ball game instead of just showcasing what you can do.
We'll see how the Cardinals play it here with a leadoff hitter, Barton, and he bunted it foul. Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, now will chat with Barton. Barton, a Rule 5 pick from the Cleveland Indians back in December.
Career .317 hitter in the minor leagues for the Indians.
I think he has a future after baseball. He was an aerospace engineering major at Miami of Florida. He interned at Boeing.
Holy cow.
In the satellite systems department in El Segundo, California.
I thought his post-baseball career was going to be as a backup singer for Ziggy Marley or something. That's quite a look he's got going there.
The bunt goes to Wirtz. Michael not even thinking about third base. It's a sacrifice for Barton. Want to see a Cubs game from the front row at Wrigley Field? Now you can. Visit Cubs.com and click on the CBOE front row seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first base line for the May 9th through May 18th games. Don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com and check out the CBOE front row seats auction today. Swing and a miss by Ankiel with the infield in. And the Cardinals leading 2-0. He is 8 for his last 13. He walked and scored his first time up. He already has 6 game-winning RBIs. Tied for first in the majors with Manny Ramirez of the Red Sox. Good block by Soto on back-to-back pitches, 1-1. Asked Gio how he's doing after the collision at home plate with Prince Fielder. He said, I'm fine.
Take somebody bigger than that to hurt Gio. I don't know if there is anybody bigger than that in the game of baseball. Prince Fielder, but he held his ground on that play and holds his ground on that changeup in the dirt.
Swing and the miss. Good slider. Well, 1-2. Another dirt ball, 2-2. I was talking about the pitch, by the way, not any particular person.
Boy, that's so important for a catcher to be able to block those pitches in the dirt when your pitcher is ahead in the count, because that's where you want to throw that breaking pitch or changeup. You don't want to throw it for a strike. You want to throw it up there at the bottom of the zone, make it look like a strike, and then bounce it in the dirt and hope to get a swinging strike.
Well, he got him for the second out.
It was a very busy day at the dish yesterday. Fukudome with a strong throw to home plate. This was a play we were talking about with Prince Fielder. May have come up a little high with that left elbow. And later in the ball game, Fukudome plays the ball off the wall. Long relay throw by Mike Fontenot. He's got plenty of time to prepare this time for Ricky Weeks, and applies the tag before the Brewers second baseman could get on home plate.
The fans here don't like it, but there's no reason to pitch to Albert Pujols in this spot.
This will be his 9th intentional walk on the season. Cardinals have 16 as a team.
That's the most intentional walks and the most walks overall now, 32 on the year. He has reached base safely in all 30 games. Well, this is not the kind of start Lou Piniella envisioned tonight for his ball club, coming off that, I wouldn't say devastating, but a very difficult to swallow loss yesterday. It's not devastating because it's early in the season, and the Cubs are still 17-11. But what you wanted to do is come right back out tonight and get this one. The good news is it's only 2-0. It feels like it's 8-0, but the Cubs are very much in it. They're just going to need their bullpen to chew up a lot of quality innings the rest of the way. And as you said, I'm sure Jim Hendry, the general manager, who is with the club here in St. Louis, is already on the phone discussing options with Randy Bush and other members of the front office when it comes to bullpen help down the road. The 0-1 pitch to Gloss. That was a delayed steal there by Pujols. The throw's going to go to the plate, and they get Ryan. Nicely done by Mark DeRosa. I don't know if Pujols tried to get caught up between first and second. A little bit of a delayed tactic there, but it did not work out. It's 2-0 after 2.
Dude.
At the Turtle Wax Ice Ultimate Detailing Challenge, it was no contest. Turtle Wax Ice car polish. It goes on fast with no effort. And unlike conventional car waxes, there's no white residue to wipe off. And when it comes to trim, seams, plastic, and rubber, no problem.
Look at that. The shine is just amazing. Turtle Wax Ice, finish first.
Turtle Wax Ice car polish. Welcome to the Ice Age. The generation that swore it would never get old didn't. Welcome to the summer of life. And now there's an official hair treatment of the summer of your life. New touch of gray from Just for Men. Lets you keep a little gray. Works gradually. Just comb in, rinse.
Never trust anybody over 90.
Keep a little gray with New Touch of Gray.
They've been gone way too long. I'm going home.
Hey guys, wait up, I'm coming.
Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Saturday at 3 on the Superstation.
Season 2's outrageous New York auditions.
You're horrible. I'm gone. Bye, I'm spent.
American Idol Rewind.
Sunday at 8 Eastern.
The Cardinals ran themselves out of an inning. They did get one. They lead 2-0. Giovanni Soto hits that ball hard fair. Right down the left field line. Kicks off that sidewall. He's on his way to second base. And that's the first hit for the Cubs tonight.
Well, you mentioned the Cardinals running themselves out of that bottom half of the second inning. A very unusual play. A delayed steal at first by Albert Pujols. Soto sees it all the way. Look how much time DeRosa has. He's got time to wind up and make sure he makes a good throw back to home plate. Had to be a terrible jump by Ryan at third base. And all this happening with the Cardinals leading RBI man at the plate. Very unusual play for a team that hasn't been very aggressive on the bases this year.
Pujols, I don't know if he slipped or if he was trying to stop and get caught in a rundown.
You know, Jose Oquendo, the fine third base coach for the Cardinals, came back to the bench between innings and was explaining to everybody in there exactly what happened and why the play went wrong. And I joked between innings. That's why bench players make good managers. They always find out what the play was, how it was supposed to work, and what went wrong.
Called strike on PA. Lou trying to get another lefty in the lineup. Left-handers hitting .292 against Wainwright. He's given up 4 home runs, all to lefties. Righty's hitting just a .172 with no home runs. So PA in there for Johnson. And a breaking ball strike, 0-2.
You mentioned the 4 home runs on the season for Wainwright. All 4 solo shots, and 3 of those came in his complete game outing against Houston last time out.
I see John Lieber getting loose in the Cubs bullpen. Darrell Ward with bat for Wirtz as PA chased for out number 1. John Lieber has already earned his keep, but this might be the night for John Lieber.
A couple different ways you can go after PA when you get to 2 strikes. That's one of them. A bounced breaking ball in the dirt. You can elevate that fastball up above the letters. He's shown no ability to lay off either one. I think he's going to pull back Darrell Ward now and use Big Z as a pinch hitter in this situation.
Well, he hit a home run yesterday. His first of the year, his 13th career blast. Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Diamondbacks on Sunday, May 11th. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 women 14 and older will receive a Cubs pink cap, compliments of MasterCard. A rather loud and not very pleasant greeting for Big Z. I did ask him if he was setting up the pitcher yesterday. He said no. Took Gallardo deep in the 3rd inning. He hit what looked to be a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, a good curved ball. Looked like it ended up about knee level on the outside corner, but Carlos took it the opposite way for a bomb.
Soto the runner at second, 1 out. And the pitch to Z scoots him off the plate. 2-0. So we will see John Lieber next. And Lou would like to see him go maybe 4 or 5 innings tonight. Broken bat, flare, and it drops down. Soto had to make sure that it got past the second baseman Ryan. They're at the corners for Soriano. It was very similar to the RBI hit by Brendan Ryan.
On the 2-0 pitch, he gets a fastball in, breaks his bat, but I don't even need to tell you how strong Carlos is to muscle that ball with a broken bat out over the head of the second baseman into shallow center. Good opportunity here for Soriano to get busy with the bat. A couple guys on base. I was talking to Pat Hughes about it earlier this evening. Soriano coming back off the disabled list. First 2 starting assignments are against Gallardo and Wainwright, 2 of the better right-handers in the National League in the early going this season. Not an easy way to ease back into the action.
One strike on Soriano. Wainwright works from the first base side of the rubber. 0-2. Interesting article by Cubs beat reporter Gordon Wittenmeyer today, and he thinks like Lou that Soriano should just stay in that 1 spot. And after reading that, I went ahead and looked at the team splits, and the Cubs leadoff man, not just Alfonso but everybody who filled in for him, they really haven't gotten on base that much. Check swing as Molina blocked it. The leadoff hitters, Bob, in general, for the entire team, have an OPS that's worse than the pitcher spot.
Wow.
And yet the Cubs have gotten off to a great start. They lead the major leagues in runs. Now, the guy who's had the most success in the spot is Reed Johnson. His on base is 340, which is still not exactly where you'd like it for a leadoff hitter. The 1-2 pitch, low and outside. So I guess the point here is that Alfonso Soriano's hitting 161. He's not going to hit 161. And the track record would say at some point he's going to get really hot. He hasn't been hot yet this year. And if he doesn't get hot, the Cubs offense still could go, because it has in the first month of the season without a lot of production out of this spot. The 2-2 pitch. And it's knocked down, and they will get an out at second. What a nifty play by his tourist. Soriano will get an RBI as Soto scores, and it's now 2-1. Cesar, a one-time Gold Glove winner, able to knock it down, and he was able to get Zambrano at second base.
Well, that's the kind of play that gets you Gold Glove recognition. Knock it down, laying on his belly. Couldn't find the ball initially, but by the time he does, he grabs it, throws from the seat of his pants just in time to get Z at second base.
The pitch to Terrio, strike one. So I guess just to kind of wrap up my point, I'm as guilty of doing it as anybody else, but until you look at the numbers, you can't just sit here and say that the Cubs are better off with somebody else leading off. They really haven't been. They've been a little bit better with Reed Johnson leading off, but not to the extent that you would think. And the way I like to use the analogy is football. When people say, the backup quarterback should play. Well, are you sure it's a better option? Are you positive over the course of an entire season the backup is going to be better in that spot?
And really the whole argument to me is a little overblown. I mean, really the only time you're assured that you're going to lead off for your team is your first at bat of the ball game. I mean, for example, this last at bat for Alfonso Soriano, he came up with one out and runners at first and third. He's not a leadoff hitter anymore. Now he's a run producer, an RBI guy. Find a way to get those guys on the dish. He's never going to be Ricky Henderson. He's not going to bunt for base hits. He's not going to take walks. We hope he'll be able to steal some bases for the remainder of the season, and this would appear to be one of those situations, but that remains to be seen.
Long pause by Wainwright. Now he steps off.
I think back to the days of the California Angels when Brian Downing used to lead off for him because he was an on-base percentage guy. He took his walks but would hit the occasional leadoff home run. Certainly not your prototypical leadoff hitter, but based on the guys that they had to choose from, he best suited that leadoff spot.
Ryan Terrio has led off twice. I mean, about as small a sample size as you can get. And his on base was 222. Mike Fontenot made 3 starts in that spot. 4 games overall, a 158 OBP. I mentioned Johnson at 340. Soriano running. And it's Troy Gloss to throw to first. And the inning is over. The Cubs do get one, so they're on the board. It's now 2-1 St. Louis.
Hey everybody, check this out. Who wants white meat?
Tradition meets innovation. Lockable in-bed trunk on the Ridgeline, built by Honda.
Be careful, Jimmy.
I'm fine, Mom.
I'm bored. Can you hear me now?
Good, because we're going to need 2 rooms with king-size beds and a spa treatment for my wife.
We test our network every day.
Spa treatment, honey.
So you get America's most reliable network, Verizon Wireless. This Mother's Day, get Mom a Venus, or for just $99, get her a pink pearl.
With our 30 minutes, we reenacted a medieval war.
There was no Domino's in the 14th century.
But each of these pizzas was only $4.
Rubbish!
Domino's. You got 30 minutes.
Here it comes.
Another huge deal from Domino's. Introducing the Domino's $4 pizza deal.
You got 3 or more 10-inch pizzas for just $4 each. You got them hot. You got them to your door.
You got your order online.
You got pizza tracker.
When we connected, we just were totally accepting of each other, and that created a bond.
One thing just led to another, and that's when we told each other. There was first
kiss.
In the kitchen.
Like probably 20 minutes after I got there.
Yeah. It's good chemistry. There were just so many little things that we had in common.
We both don't like tomatoes.
Change your life for the better. Log on to eHarmony today and review your matches for free.
Corner Gas, weeknights at midnight Eastern on Superstation WGN.
2 2008 Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports is brought to you by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager.
That is Budweiser. You've Said It All by Scanatra. Is that from your iPod?
Oh, yeah. I've got the acoustic version of this, too.
Here's Troy Gloss. He was at the plate when Brendan Ryan was caught trying to steal home. (2-1) Cardinals.
Yeah, I bought that song only because of the album that it came from. It's Happy Hour Somewhere.
Here's John Lieber. Michael Wirtz went 1 1/3, gave up 2 hits, 1 run. If you just joined us, Rich Hill was taken out after walking 4 of the 6 hitters he faced in the first inning. A cynic would say he was taken out during a no-hitter. It's true, he did not give up a hit. But after he forced in a run with a free pass, Lou had seen enough. He threw 27 pitches, only 10 strikes. Fly ball hit by Gloss. PA's in right center. And he snaps it up. 1 out.
Ryan Ludwig making his way to the plate. One of those unusual, rare players. Throws left-handed, bats right-handed. Ricky Henderson immediately jumps to mind, a guy that had a Hall of Fame career doing that.
Randy Johnson.
Well,
would be another.
Carried away.
But right,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm trying to come up with another famous lefty thrower, righty hitter.
Mark Carrion, longtime bench player with the Mets, the Giants, and others. He's a lefty thrower, righty hitter.
I keep thinking of pitchers. Mike Hampton, I believe, is a righty hitter. Felix again. 2 down.
That's that time of night. You saw Felix pointing up toward the evening sky here in St. Louis. Not quite dark, but that ball goes up in the air. It tends to blend in with that gray sky right now, and asking for some help from his infielders.
I got one for you. How many lefty throwers are switch hitters?
Oh.
That might even be more rare. Off the top of my head, other than maybe a pitcher or two, I cannot think of a position player. Two strikes on Yadier Molina. He got an RBI on that bases loaded walk. Well, our email is working tonight. lenandbob@AOL.com. If you can think of a position player in baseball, either today or in years past, a left-handed thrower and a switch hitter. We don't have the answers, but we have a lot of questions.
Yes, we do.
Line foul. There's an obvious one that we're missing. There's somebody sitting at home going, I can't believe that they can't think of this person. They think about Chipper Jones, Jose Reyes. Ground ball toward the hole, backhanded. Terrio with a very high throw. Got past Derek Lee, and Molina's on. And it's a hit.
Well, there were a lot of plays earlier this season where Terrio was having trouble staying on his feet. I think he did this by design. Sometimes the easiest way to stop your momentum is to drop that left knee down to the ground, plant the right foot, just like he does right there, but throw gets away from him a little bit. Fortunately, hit the facing of that first base dugout and stayed in play.
Now the guy whose job was taken by Terrio last year, Cesar Torres, who was dealt from the Cubs to the Pirates last July, signed with the Cardinals as a free agent. They have a new left side of their infield. They had Roland and Eckstein, who are now in Toronto. Molina runs, and that's rolled into right. Runners at the corners for Wainwright, who has already doubled and scored.
Well, you really have to considerably change your thinking. Normally when you get the number 7 hitter at the plate with 2 outs in the inning, you'll run the risk of stealing a base. If he gets thrown out, you've got your 8 hitter leading off ahead of the pitcher. But everything gets pushed up a spot with the Cardinals. So even though Yadier Molina rarely attempts to steal a base because the number 7 hitter, in this case Cesar Torres, was behind him and the pitcher behind that, that's the time to take a shot. And John Lieber didn't pay any attention to Yadier Molina over there first base. He had a walking lead and was off.
He threw a slider to Wainwright for ball 1. Swing and a miss. He might not get a fastball.
Yeah, at least not in an area where he can hammer it.
DeRosa drifts back, makes a catch, and the inning is over. Back-to-back 2-out singles, but no runs. It's been a wild start to this one. It's the Cardinals 2, the Cubs 1 after 3.
They say a man should always dress for the job he wants. So why am I dressed up like a pirate in this restaurant? It's all because some hacker stole my identity. Now I'm in here every evening serving chowder and iced tea. Should have gone to freecreditreport.com. I could have seen this coming at me like an atom bomb. They monitor your credit and send you email alerts so you don't end up selling fish to tourists in t-shirts.
Offer applies with enrollment and Triple Advantage.
Hi, we'd like 2 fudge brownie temptations.
Mom, just make it 1.
I'm surprised you wanted to share.
Actually, I don't.
Pardon me, ladies. This is compliments of the gentleman in the donkey shirt.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Fall in love with the new fudge brownie temptation at Dairy Queen. Topped with gooey fudge, moist brownie pieces, and whipped topping.
Can you have a beautiful lawn and use less water? Actually, yes. Thanks to Scott's Turf Builder Water Smart formula. A lawn fed the Water Smart way grows healthier roots that use water more efficiently. So your lawn needs less, saving you thousands of gallons a year. Smart. Scott's Turf Builder. Feed the lawn. Water Smart.
Next, Reno 911. The squad is looking for a few good men.
The Reno Sheriff's Department needs you. So if you're tired of sitting in the back of the squad car and ready to try out the driver's seat, sign up today.
Reno 911.
Tonight at 1 a.m. Eastern on Superstation WGN.
The Cubs trail 2-1. They'll bat in the 4th inning. And time now for our AT&T text poll question. You can text to 97999. What do you like most about St. Louis? A, the Cubs have won 7 of 9 here. B, it's the home of Budweiser. C, the Bowling Hall of Fame is right next door. Or D, leaving it. Well, let's see what you say. 97999. Brought to you by the new AT&T.
AT&T and the St. Louis Chamber of Commerce.
Check out att.com. Lee, Ramirez, and Fukudome. The Cubs are 1 swing away from tying this one. The biggest issue is the Cardinals have their best starter on the mound, and the Cubs are going to use up a lot of their bullpen tonight. But John Lieber was able to get through the 3rd with no runs. Hit hard, but Gloss gobbles it up. And Lee is out.
Cardinals have been very good defensively in the early going this year as well. Lost with 2 errors on this season. Adam Kennedy with 2. Nobody else on this Cardinals roster has more than 1.
You talked earlier about the lights and kind of this time of night. Troy Glaus had been having problems seeing here in night games. Big swing by Ramirez. Has been bothered by some allergies, which had caused some water to form in his eyes. He wore a pair of tinted glasses the other night. The 1-strike pitch in the dirt. 1-1.
Well, this game is tough enough to play when you have 20/20 vision, but if you're really struggling and your eyes are watering and you've got allergy, itchy eyes, that makes it doubly tough to see that ball and do what you have to do.
The tall right-hander coming back on a 1-1 pitch. Downstairs, 2-1. Milwaukee also designated Derek Turnbull for assignment today after a very rough outing.
Well, you could almost see that one coming.
Boy, a lot of big injuries. Troy Tulowitzki with a torn tendon in his left quad. I read maybe the All-Star break before he's back. Phil Hughes with the Yankees, a right-hander, a stress fracture in his rib. Jorge Posada is going to be out about 5 weeks with a shoulder injury. A-Rod's out. 3-2 on Ramirez. Detroit trails tonight at Minnesota 3-1. They just completed their first 3-game sweep at Yankee Stadium since 1966. Close pitch. He took it for ball 4. I saw Alan Trammell in the workout room at our team hotel today. I said, Alan, 20 years with the Tigers, you never swept the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. He didn't know that. 42 years in between 3-game sweeps.
Wow. Some of those great teams they had in the early to mid 80s in Detroit. Yeah, you would have thought they'd have done it somewhere along the line. I tell you, it's not easy to sweep a series, though, unless you catch a team that is really on a bad down cycle and you happen to be on one of the best streaks of the year. It's tough to win 3 games in a row at somebody else's house.
The pitch to Fukudome. Backhanded by his Tourist. He slings to Ryan. Relay throw late. It's a fielder's choice for Kosuke. Well, we've seen Cesar at his best tonight defensively. He's made a couple of really nice plays.
Well, really smooth sliding to his right, makes the backhanded play, turns and throws almost blindly to second base, but Fukudome with too much speed beats out the relay.
Two down for DeRosa. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. What a night. Now you drove here. You drove through a little weather in Illinois, didn't you?
Yeah, just you know, getting out of Chicago proper and out onto the freeway early this morning. I had thoughts about calling down here to see if the game had already been canceled. It was raining that hard. But it was a nice drive. Passed a lot of Cub fans on the way. A lot of Cub fans passed me. I saw some jerseys hanging in the back window, some Cubs hats in the back window.
You were on your motorcycle with a sidecar, right?
Not this time. No. Next time.
Maybe the next trip. You'd never asked me to sit in that sidecar. And to be honest with you, I don't know what my answer would be. Have you ever ridden in one of those?
As a matter of fact, a long time ago, I was just a youngster and kind of looked like, what's his name, Jack Nicholson, an Easy Rider. I was wearing a football helmet in the sidecar. That's how long ago this was, but that was quite the experience.
Fukudome faked towards second. We've seen that happen a lot here over the last few days. Not just him. A couple of Cubs base runners have faked towards second.
Boy, if you want to steal a base, you really have to be physically and mentally committed to making that break toward second base and continuing on. Now, of course, if you make that break the first step or two and realize you don't have a good enough jump to steal, then you slam on the brakes. But you really have to believe that you've got a big enough lead and a good enough jump to go ahead and steal that base.
Fastball inside. That runs the count to 3-1. Soto on deck. He had a really good swing for a double against Wainwright in the third inning. Now Kosuke will be going with 2 outs and a 3-2 count on the hitter. This rivalry dates back to 1892. The Cubs have won 1,137 times. The Cardinals 1,072. Fukudome runs, swing and a miss to end the inning. 1 out walk, no runs. Still St. Louis 2, Cubs 1.
I never thought I would have a heart attack, but I did, and I died. I was taken to the hospital, and they shocked me back to life. I think I lived for a reason, to educate women about heart disease. You need to talk to your doctor about aspirin. You need to be your own advocate.
Aspirin's not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
You take care of your kids. Now it's time to take care of yourself.
Now there's something new in heart protection. Introducing Bear with Heart Advantage.
All hail the buffet explorer, the Lewis and Clark of pizza. May your discoveries be grand and your rewards saucy. Cece's Pizza, Pasta, Salad, and Dessert Buffet for an unbelievably low price.
When you feel good inside, you feel good all over. Try Yo Plus for 10 days, and you just might feel like... Yo Plus helps regulate digestive health naturally. Compare it to Activia. Both have special digestive health cultures, but only Yo Plus has cultures plus fiber plus vitamins A and D. And Yo Plus tastes great. Get more with a Yo Plus coupon at YoPlus.com.
Make an appointment with Becker. Weeknights at 12:30 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Cardinals 2, Cubs 1. First of 3 this weekend. The pitching matchups tomorrow and Sunday. Ted Lilly and Kyle Loesch go tomorrow. Jason Marquis and former Cub Todd Wellemeyer Sunday night. 1-0 on Brendan Ryan, who has an RBI single. John Lieber already the 3rd Cubs pitcher to work in this ballgame. John signed a 1-year contract worth about $3.5 million plus incentives to return to the Cubs this past offseason. The 1-1 pitch. Now it's 1-2. Lieber was a 2nd-round pick of the Kansas City Royals back in 1992 out of the University of South Alabama. The Cubs actually drafted him the year before, but he did not sign. Went in the 9th round in '91. That's past Lieber, but not past DeRosa. Well, Bob, construction has been completed. The long-awaited debut of the new podcast studios on the north side of Chicago. Finally, we're ready to go. And we have the podcast posted. You can view, download, and, of course, enjoy.
Oh, that's nice.
You don't want to miss it. Go to WGNTV.com. Click the sports header, then look for the link to Len and Bob's podcast. He knows it, Brian. If you're on Len and Bob's baseball blog on WGNTV.com, you'll find a link there as well. Yes, I was sleeping.
No, I was not picking my nose.
Skip Schumacher bats for Brian Barton. And he flies out to Soriano. What a great view of the ballpark. During batting practice, we were waiting for a home run.
I have a feeling we're going to wait a long time.
One strike on Ankiel. Pounded on the ground. Lee can't get it, and that's a base hit. That will bring up Pujols.
With a lot of topspin on that ground ball. That second bounce seemed to accelerate past Derek Lee into right field for a base hit. Pregame with some minor problems out there corralling that ground ball.
Ball one on Pujols. A lot was made on his bad right elbow before the season. Spring training, a lot of articles about it. But it's an injury that goes back to 2003 when he was playing left field. He might need reconstructive surgery at some point. He hasn't. Ulnar collateral ligament tear, bone spurs, arthritis, you name it. And he lines to Fukudome for the last out, but he came in hitting .365. So far, so good for Pujols. They retire him for the first time tonight. It's still 2-1.
Bud Light is brewed to give you everything you want in a beer. Never-ending refreshment, superior drinkability, and now the power to turn into a cute little doggy.
Watch and learn. Hey, cutie.
Are you lost?
Yeah, and I need a bath.
I just want to take you home with me. But first, we'd have to get you fixed.
Dude, trouble.
Power to turn into a cute little doggy no longer available in Bud Light.
No.
The superior drinkability, however, remains.
Bud Light keeps it coming.
Okay, forget the bath. I'm good.
At the Turtle Wax Ice Ultimate Detailing Challenge, it's what's inside that counts. Turtle Wax Ice Total Interior Care. It cleans, conditions, and protects every surface inside your car. Vinyl, leather, plastic. It even removes tough stains from carpet and upholstery. With no artificial shine, no messy overspray, and no greasy residue.
Turtle Wax Ice, finish first.
There's a new player in town. Turtle Wax Ice Total Interior Care. Welcome to the Ice Age.
The generation that swore it would never get old didn't. Welcome to the summer of life. And now there's an official hair treatment of the summer of your life. New Touch of Gray from Just for Men. Lets you keep a little gray. Works gradually. Just comb in, rinse.
Never trust anybody over 90.
Keep a little gray with New Touch of Gray.
When a terrorist escapes, his deadly new target becomes clear.
We're going to take out downtown Los Angeles.
Next 24, Saturday at 12:30 a.m. Eastern.
They've been gone way too long. I'm going home.
Hey guys, wait up, I'm coming.
Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Saturday at 3 on the Superstation.
Soto, PA, and Lieber due up for the Cubs. In the fifth inning against Adam Wainwright, a swing and the miss. Soto with a double and a run. And a fantastic batting average and on-base percentage for the Cubs catcher. Skip Schumacher stays in and plays left after he hit for Barton.
Schumacher part of that deep outfield core that Tony La Russa has available. Barton hitting .333 coming into play tonight is taken down for a guy hitting .317.
And if you're Sean Marshall in the Cubs bullpen, right back to the pitcher and a nice play by Wainwright. They get Soto. You pretty much know if you're going to pitch, it's going to be against the top two hitters now with Schumacher and Ankiel.
No question about it. That'll be his two guys at some point in this ball game if he's needed.
Felix struck out swinging in the third inning. There's the lefty who had the pink backpack with all the candy and other items because Kevin Hart was sent back to AAA Iowa. So the guy with the least experience ends up carrying that bag. That's into the left field corner for PA. It'll be extra bases. A one-out double.
Well, things are going good. Felix makes it look easy. Just drops the bat head on that pitch out away from him. Lines it down into that left field corner. They were giving him a lot of room in that corner. Finds himself in scoring position. John Lieber will get an opportunity to either advance him on to third base or perhaps even drive him in.
And good timing. Right-handed thrower, left-handed hitter. And we have our answer. Thanks to Joe Aiello from viewfromthebleachers.com. He sent us the list. Left-handed throwers who switch hit. He went on baseballreference.com, and I knew there was at least one or two currently that we should have gotten.
Yeah.
Lance Berkman.
Yeah, a couple of them we should have got. Yeah.
And Nick Swisher.
Those two, yeah.
Left-handed throwers who switch hit. Melky Cabrera of the Yankees. There are a bunch of pitchers on the list, but we were thinking more position players. The 1-0 to Lieber. Caught the outside corner. Dan Ortmeyer of the San Francisco Giants. There aren't a lot of them. One and two. In baseball today here in 2008, only 6. Called strike 3, and Lieber's out. Now tonight's Honda Accord game summary. Visit your Honda dealer and test drive the all-new 268 horsepower Accord V6. Story of the night for the Cubs, a very quick, short, rough outing for Rich Hill. Got just 2 outs, didn't give up a hit, but he walked 4, allowed a run, and was pulled after just 27 pitches. The strikeout for Wainwright, his 4th on the night, and he faces Soriano with a runner at second. Molina setting up shop toward the inside part of the plate as Wainwright faked to second.
That's no guarantee that that's where Molina wants this next pitch to Alfonso Soriano. If you know that pitcher's going to attempt a pickoff move or a fake pickoff move, sometimes you can set the hitter up by setting up on the opposite side of the plate of where you're going to want the pitch.
Here he comes. Swing and a miss.
He had set up inside on the fake pickoff at second base and then came right back with a slider away when they actually delivered the pitch to home plate. I know catching against the Mets and the Cardinals in the past, when Keith Hernandez played, every time there was a pickoff throw to any base, the first thing he would do is look back to see where the catcher was set up.
Pulled foul. He waited back and then ended up being out in front of it, if that makes sense. Wainwright's from Brunswick, Georgia. First round pick of the Braves in 2000. Cardinals got him in December of 03. The year before, 02, he was Atlanta's #1 prospect, according to Baseball America. Big turnaround as far as starting pitching. They came in as a staff, the starters, with the best ERA in baseball. Soriano chased. Last year they were 14th in the National League. Strikeout number 5 for Wainwright. It's still 2-1 midway in the 5th.
Gear up for the new live-action film, Speed Racer. Thank you.
In theaters May 9th. Go to esurance.com to see exclusive clips from Speed Racer.
Got a lot of projects?
Yeah.
We've got what you need.
We're here because we've been there with the tools, products, and advice to get it done right. True Value. Start right. Start here. Visit truevalue.com/TV for a free $5 coupon. Print your $5 coupon at truevalue.com/TV.
What are you doing? Is that the Grand Slam? No.
Introducing the Build Your Own Grand Slam. Choose any 4 items and make it your slam, starting at $5.99.
Denny, real breakfast, 24/7.
Increase power, performance, and gas mileage with Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner. 2 for $8. So whatever you're working on, Advance will help you keep the wheels turning.
Funniest Pets and People, weekdays at 6 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
The Cardinals 2, the Cubs 1. John Lieber has given up 3 hits but no runs in 2 relief innings. Pops a strike against Troy Gloss, who's tied for first in the majors with 12 doubles. Here's the 0-1. Lieber likes to work fast. Lou was asked about Kerry Wood before the ball game. He said, I have total confidence in Kerry. He's my closer. Wood blew his 3rd save of the year yesterday. That's crunched foul. The way Lou put it today, games like yesterday happen to every team. You don't like it, you just try to move on. And the way things went early tonight, we'll probably see Kerry Wood again no matter what a little bit later. Hopefully in a safe spot. Swing and a miss. Big swing by Gloss. He does not cut down on that hack with 2 strikes. Here's another look at our AT&T text poll question. Your last chance to vote on what you like most about St. Louis. Text your response to 97999.
That's one of the tougher text poll questions for me this year. There's at least 3 answers on there that are at least close to the top of my list.
Have you been to the Bowling Hall of Fame? I've been by it many times.
Yeah,
I've never gone in.
By it a million times. Tough to go wrong with good old Budweiser. Now, I've been to the brewery. I missed the Bowling Hall of Fame, but I have been to the brewery.
Bowling Hall of Fame, Budweiser Brewery. Yeah, I think I know which one I would choose.
They do go pretty much hand in hand, though, bowling and beer.
The 2-1 to Ludwig. Line in the left. That drops in front of Soriano. Dave McKay giving him some words of advice at first base. Haven't been up there either. Have you ever gone up in the arch?
No, I have not. I think that's something that I'll leave for others. I'm not real crazy about curving elevator rides. But I told you last year and the year before and the year before and every year I've come to St. Louis, I think it would be a great little trick for the state of Illinois to erect a statue right across the river of a man in Bermuda shorts playing croquet. lining up the ball, getting ready to hit it across the river.
He would have to be about a mile tall.
Yeah, that's the world's largest croquet wicket right there.
Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't know where you were going with that one. That was a good payoff, I have to admit. 1-0 on Molina. Ludwig at first. 1-1. The Cardinals are coming off a very disappointing and devastating 2007. That was after a World Series title the year before. Had the tragic death last year of relief pitcher Josh Hancock. Juan Encarnacion suffered a career-threatening injury on a foul ball just like the one Molina hit. He was in the on-deck circle, got hit in the eye, right near where Izturis is standing. Scott Spezio dealt with off-field issues. Tony La Russa had a DUI arrest in spring training. There was all kinds of stuff off the field, on the field. Chris Carpenter got hurt on opening day, and then longtime general manager Walt Jocketty was pushed out after the season. And because of the way things ended, a lot of people were surprised that Tony came back. Many articles about his fractured relationship with Scott Rowland, who's now with the Blue Jays. Jim Edmonds is gone. Spezio was released following an off-season incident. That's low. 2-2. Even team president Mark Lamping left to run the Football Stadium Authority at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, replaced by Bill DeWitt III, the son of club chairman Bill DeWitt Jr.
Wow, last one out, turn out the lights.
Yeah, but Tony La Russa is still here. His 13th season. There's been a lot of continuity in that dugout. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, this is his 29th year as a major league pitching coach. That's a new record. And he didn't even pitch. He was a catcher. To Derek Lee, he will throw to Terrio covering second. It'll go 3-6-3. A double play, and the inning is over. We've completed 5 tonight in St. Louis. The Cardinals lead the Cubs 2-1.
Auto insurance wasn't something I used to get animated about until I switched to Esurance.
Paul is an actual Esurance customer. Here we go, Paul.
With competitive rates and quote-by-print convenience, Esurance makes it easy to save time and money on car insurance.
And don't forget, if you ever run into any trouble, special agents are here to help you 24/7.
Who knew I could be so drawn to my auto insurance company?
Take a fresh look at your auto insurance. Get your quote from Esurance today.
What are you doing? Is that the Grand Slam? No.
Introducing the Build Your Own Grand Slam. Choose any 4 items and make it your slam, starting at $5.99.
Denny, real breakfast, 24/7.
Today, we're observing the Geico Gecko, an extraordinary creature with a most curious adaptation. The ability to save people hundreds of dollars on their car insurance. Let's watch. That's odd. Whoa. Fascinating.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The Superstation is America's home for baseball. Jim Thome in Chicago look to go deep against Jays ace Roy Halladay. White Sox, Blue Jays, Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on the Superstation. It's great to be home.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Let's take a look at our upcoming WGN-produced baseball schedule in high definition, sponsored by Comcast. White Sox and Blue Jays in Toronto Sunday beginning at 11:30 with White Sox warm-up. Cubs will be in Cincinnati Monday night on WCIU Channel 26 at 7. Tuesday night, Sox host the Twins at 7, also on WCIU at 7. All in beautiful HD, sponsored by Comcast. Great to have you with us tonight. It hasn't gone the Cubs' way early on, but they only trail by a run. It's 2-1 as we get into the 6th. Two, 3, and 4 versus Wainwright. He delivers a strike to Terrio. Top 3 hitters in the lineup, a combined 0 for 7 versus Wainwright. All the hits have come at the bottom. Soto and PA with doubles, and pinch hitter Carlos Zambrano with a pinch hit single. The pitch up and in.
Wainwright with good command of all 4 of his pitches. If he throws a fastball up and in like he did right there to Ryan Terrio, it's probably to set up the next pitch, a slider low and away. Terrio not biting.
Happy belated 84th birthday to Georgia Campbell, who turned 84 on the 28th of April. Happy 50th anniversary wishes go out to Anthony and Anna Casada of Orlando, Florida. Anthony, a Chicago native, Lane Tech grad, diehard Cubs fan. Served 31 years in the Navy. Happy 50th. 2-2 pitch. Full count. I read Bobby Mercer, the former Cub, returning to the Yankees broadcast booth tonight. That's great to hear. Coming back from a brain biopsy in March. Pujols will get to first base well before Terrio. Here's Lee with 1 out. Another reminder, Wrigley Field hosting a minor league game coming up on July 29th. Tickets went on sale this morning on Cubs.com. Ryan Sandberg's Peoria Chiefs will host the Kane County Cougars. A 1 bouncer, and his Tourist throws out Lee. Boy, Wainwright has been mowing him down tonight.
Boy, when a starting pitcher is executing his pitches and putting the ball where he wants to put it, it almost forces the hitter to hit the ball into the teeth of his defense. Now that time his Tourist, it wasn't a full-blown pull shift, but his Tourist was 2 or 3 steps closer to the hole, and that ball was hit right at him because Wainwright hit his spot on the outside corner.
He's gone at least 7 innings every time out. Completed his last start. He has never beaten the Cubs, however. He's 0-3 with a 7.5 ERA. I was talking with Aramis today about his childhood. He was a basketball player. He did not play baseball until he was 13 or 14, and he was signed by the Pirates when he was 16. So he had only played baseball for a couple of years before he signed his first pro contract. His hero was Michael Jordan, and he got to meet Michael during the playoffs in 2003. He said that was the thrill of his life.
Oh, I can imagine.
1-2.
Well, you know, just talking about pitchers executing their pitches and the defense sets up appropriately, you'd think it was the 8th or 9th inning of a one-run game with the Cardinals ahead. Troy Gloss guarding the line down at third base.
Ooh, ouch. Oh, that one had to sting. Boy, that pitch came in for dinner. Got a big bite out of Aramis Ramirez.
Looks like he's holding his left wrist area. We've talked about it repeatedly in the past. You hate to see that, so many small bones and very little muscular protection in that area. Molina sliding inside. That fastball just continued to run further up and in. We saw Wainwright push Terrio off the plate with a fastball up and in. And you see Ramirez's hands had started into the hitting area. Couldn't get out of the way.
And when we talk about getting out of the way of a high and tight fastball, is that the toughest thing to get out of the way? Because you're gearing up to hit. Those hands are very vulnerable, aren't they?
Oh, no question about it. I mean, ideally, you keep your hands back in a hitting position, and when you see that ball tracking up and in, you try to turn your left shoulder away from the pitch and take the brunt of it on the back of your left shoulder or your back. But that time, Ramirez opened the front shoulder, had committed his hands to the swing, and then stopped the bat. Unfortunately, both hands, both wrists exposed. Once the front shoulder opens, those hands start to come down into the hitting slot, and that's when that pitch continued to run further up and in.
Well, that last replay said it all. I mean, a fraction of a second to get out of the way. There's just no time.
I mean, people a lot smarter than me have done the math, and I think the number is about 4/10 of a second you have from the moment that pitcher releases the ball until that pitch is actually in the hitting zone. You have about 4/10 of a second to decide ball or strike, fastball, breaking ball, change up. Do I want to swing? Do I want to take?
By the way, Aramis and Derek Lee, the only two position players who have started every game at their respective positions. 28 and counting. Lee at first, Ramirez at third. And neither wants a day off, ever.
Well, Ramirez was out of the lineup at least once in the early going this season and went in and pleaded his case to Lou Piniella to be in there. We love that attitude.
Fukudome hits it in the air to Schumacher for out number 3. Ramirez got hit. Fortunately, he's all right. It's still 2-1.
A lot of choices, huh?
Tell me about it.
Because you want a beer that's not too heavy.
Yeah?
But you don't want to compromise on taste, so.
No, I don't.
Just want that perfect balance.
Budweiser. Oh, thanks, man. You know, they ought to pay you.
Steer to help.
So fine that I really want to make you mine.
From a guy's perspective, it's very difficult to kind of verbalize some things.
It's very difficult to sit down and describe yourself in, 3 to 4 sentences.
Dating sites give you a picture and a paragraph. At eHarmony, we do the matching for you based on 29 dimensions of compatibility. And right now, you can log on to eHarmony.com and review your matches all for free. Aren't you curious to see who you're compatible with?
Love is pure joy.
eHarmony.com. Log on today.
Thank you, Aunt Sarah, for sending money from afar.
Send money within the U.S. with Western Union next day service for as low as $9.99.
Thanks for the birthday money, Aunt Sarah. I love it.
Me too.
Western Union. You're never far apart.
It's the 5-minute challenge. Trigger spray versus new Roundup Pump and Go sprayer. With up to 5 minutes of continuous spray, Pump and Go kills weeds, not your hands. New Roundup Pump and Go. Hard on weeds, easy on you.
What are you doing? Is that the Grand Slam? No.
Introducing the Build Your Own Grand Slam. Choose any 4 items and make it your slam, starting at $5.99.
Danny, real breakfast, 24/7.
Reno 911, tonight at 1 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
As Torres tried the bunt, foul tipped it into the mid. Strike one. We're in the last of the 6th. Lieber now into his 4th inning. Rich Hill went 2/3 through 27 pitches and got the hook after walking the bases loaded and then walking in a run. Michael Wirtz went an inning and a third. Lined and caught by Terrio. Time to see how you voted on tonight's AT&T text poll question. The question: what do you like most about St. Louis? D, leaving it. 43%.
After the Cubs have taken 7 out of 9.
After, right.
And you had a belly full of Budweiser, and you drove past the Bowling Hall of Fame on your way out of town.
See what's new at the new AT&T. Visit att.com for details. We've discussed the reasons for Ned Yost hitting the pitcher 8th when Jason Kendall is in the Brewer lineup. Sean Marshall's up. The reason Tony La Russa does it, he wants Pujols to bat in the 1st inning, and by hitting him 3rd, that is accomplished. But after he hits once, he essentially becomes a cleanup man with a position player 9th, Brendan Ryan tonight, then the leadoff man and Rick Ankiel. The only thing that goes against it is that Wainwright's such a good hitter. In this lineup, you might as well hit him 9th. He pops out, and then he's 1 for 3. It's almost the reverse psychology, I guess.
I mean, you can see the merit to it, and I'm sure Tony La Russa and his staff and others who crunch the numbers for baseball eventually will come up with some kind of a formula to figure out how many runs it added or how many runs it subtracted by hitting the pitcher in the 8th spot. How many opportunities did it create for your number 3 hitter to have that extra runner on base when he comes to the plate? But
fair ball just got by Derek Lee and Ryan. As Fukudome's having some trouble with it, but I don't think he would have thrown him out anyway. It'll be a double. Well, if you're Tony La Russa, you want runners on when Pujols bats. If you're the opposing manager, you want him to always come up with nobody on and 2 outs. And he started to really swing at a lot of 3-0 pitches because he's not getting a lot of good ones to hit. Well, just what we talked about, Bob, with these back-to-back lefties due up. Lou is going to go with Sean Marshall. So John Lieber did a really nice job tonight. He'll exit with 2 outs in the 6th, and we'll be back to St. Louis.
Bud Light is brewed to give you everything you want in a beer. Never-ending refreshment, superior drinkability, and now the ability to be a fly on the wall.
I guess the game's over.
I'll be right back.
It worked! This is awesome!
Oh, fly.
No!
Oh, get it!
Becoming a fly on the wall no longer available in Bud Light. The superior drinkability remains.
Bud Light keeps it coming.
Dude, you're missing a wing.
There's a new joke going around. Have you heard it? What is the 5 fingers say to the face? What? Slap.
I appreciate what you're showing me right now.
On the marquee. Big letters.
If you can, put it on the board! Yeah! Bring it up! It gets out! A home run!
Well, I want to feel that hand with somebody.
Some of your favorite Cubs are headed for Universal Orlando Resort December 10th through the 14th, and you're invited. Join past and present Cubs for private events at Universal Orlando's 2 amazing theme parks. Plus, enjoy an on-field baseball clinic at historic Jackie Robinson Ballpark. This exclusive vacation is available only through AAA Travel. Call 1-866-YOUR-AAA for details on how you can be part of the fun. Sean Marshall has joined the fun. He's trying to get Skip Schumacher and end this 6th inning. Runner at second, 2 outs.
Still somewhat of an adjustment period for Sean Marshall, but in the early going this season, the results have been pretty good. We talk about stranding inherited runners being important out of the bullpen. He stranded 7 of the 8 inherited runners, and 7 of the 9 first batters he's faced, he's retired. So pretty solid numbers in those categories.
Ryan is the runner at second. The kick and the pitch blocked by Soto, 1-1. Stay tuned after the ball game tonight. The WGN News will follow. Marshall has a sign from Soto. Here he comes. Sprayed foul. Well, the Cubs will have to address the Rich Hill situation after this ball game tonight. But this is a kind of night where if you can piece it together and find a way to get a win, that would be a big booster. Swing and a miss. It gets away from Soto. He'll throw to first, and that completes it. Out number 3, and the inning is over. On to the 7th. This one is there for the taking. The Cubs trail by just a run.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi. Every sip gets you closer.
Every sip gets you closer to Justin Timberlake MP3s.
Hey.
KDU. HD TVs. Millions of songs from Amazon MP3 and more. Sign up at PepsiStuff.com.
I know I have high cholesterol, but I didn't know it may have led to my erectile dysfunction. Then my doctor told me about Levitra.
Having diabetes changed my life, but I didn't know it might lead to ED. So I asked my doctor about Levitra. He said it's made for guys with ED.
If you're a guy with high cholesterol or diabetes, Levitra is proven to help treat your ED.
Ask your doctor if you are healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems or are on alpha blocker therapy, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision or hearing, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away.
Levitra works for me. Maybe it can work for you.
Over 1 million guys have already taken Levitra.
Why wait? Ask your doctor if Levitra is right for you.
Chappelle Show tonight at midnight Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Now, the Cubs fans in attendance probably didn't like the first couple of chapters tonight, but the bullpen has kept this team in it. John Lieber's numbers: 3 2/3, 5 hits, no runs, and his ERA down to 1.86. DeRosa sends a fly ball out into deep right center, but it's very playable. Ludwig records the first out.
Well, you look at Lieber's 3 2/3 inning of work, 2 quick outs in the 3rd inning. Then he gave up a couple of harmless base hits before getting out of the inning. Then in the 4th inning, 2 quick outs before giving up a base hit, got out of the inning unscathed. In the 5th, he did give up a 1-out hit, but Yadier Molina grounded into a double play, and then 2 outs again there in the 6th inning before giving up the double to Brendan Ryan. Sean Marshall bailed him out.
Swing and a miss by Soto. This will be pitch number 82 for Wainwright. He's been very efficient. Around 80 pitches into the 7th. Big night for Kevin Kuzminoff, but it was in a losing effort. The Padres lost 6-4 in Florida, but Kuzminoff went 4 for 4. Randy Flores up in the home bullpen. Giants and Phillies are 4-4 in the top of the 9th. Atlanta beat Cincinnati 2-0. Base hit. Tying run on base. Soto's 2 for 3.
Well, what a great approach on that curveball right there by Giovanni Soto. Got that front shoulder closed just a split second longer so he could stay on that breaking ball. Lines it right back up the middle of the field. Head down the barrel of the bat. That's the way you're supposed to do it.
Left-hander Mark Hendrickson went 7 strong innings to get the win for the Marlins. While we have a moment, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
He's edgy, he's irreverent, and he's on the Superstation. Chappelle Show, tonight at 12 Eastern, part of the Friday night comedy lineup.
Now Tony La Russa coming out, chatting with Wainwright and the entire Cardinals infield, with Felix P.A. at the plate, 1 out, and he's going to make the change. He's going to go with the left-hander Flores. Wainwright will get a big ovation from this huge crowd here in St. Louis. We'll see if Lou Piniella sticks with P.A. Got to believe he'll go with a pinch hitter. We'll find out when we come back. It's 2-1.
We're identical.
We're not identical. I have different pants than you.
I don't even want to get into your pants.
I'm so sexy.
You know what I'm saying? Quite honestly, no, I don't know what she's saying. Yesterday you were a loan shark.
Yeah, but I was never that into it.
Booyah. I'm impressed.
It's not about the money, we like to chase.
Don't interrupt me, honey.
Now making fun of me.
Your commander is on deck.
We're hitching a ride. Hang on. Get off the nuclear warhead. Yes.
Super.
Time for tonight's Bud Light Fan Cam from St. Louis. Spoon gets this rivalry started once again. Who's the underdog these days? The Cubs or the Cards? That's the underdog by Spoon. We'll see how it plays out over the next 15 games. Tonight's Bud Light Fan Cam. Bud Light keeps it coming.
Left-hander Randy Flores takes over for the Cardinals. Has not given up an earned run yet this season. 6 2/3 innings, 5 base hits. He has walked 6 batters, but the league hitting only .208 against the Cardinals left-hander.
We'll have music coming up from Knife and Fork a little later on in the season. Here's Reed Johnson pinch hitting for Felix PA. The kick and the offering, a strike.
Of course, there was the collaboration. Spork, isn't that one of those plastic things that's half spoon, half fork? Yeah, see?
I'm a big ladle fan myself. Soto represents the tying run. Here's the pitch. A chopper to the shortstop is Torres. 1, and that's it.
Slowly hit ball, not much more as Torres could do right here, trying to turn the double play. Reed Johnson streaking out of that right-handed batter's box. And the throw in the dirt to Pujols makes it an easy play over there at first base. Reed Johnson now takes over with 2 outs in the inning.
Ronnie Cedeno bats for Sean Marshall.
Boy, the gears are spinning now.
Another pitching change.
Tony La Russa is notorious for this.
Kyle McClellan, who's from the St. Louis area, will come in. We'll be back.
Like the ad says, there's hardwood floors throughout.
Nice.
Hey, you want a Bud Light?
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you. I was splitting the rent. There's more money for Bud Light.
Great.
Ready to see your room?
Yeah.
Hey, roomies, say hi to Brian.
The thing is,
make yourself at home.
Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming.
That chili is not sitting well.
Superstation WGN is your new home for Reno 911.
The Reno Sheriff's Department is a perfect law enforcement engine.
And Chappelle Show.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
What? There's something funny going on every Friday night.
What?
Every Friday night.
What?
Every Friday night. Yeah! Chappelle Show and Reno 911. Friday night starting at midnight on Superstation WGN.
American Idol Rewind. Season 2's New York audition.
Like the virgin.
If you lived 2,000 years ago, they would have stoned you.
Big voices. Big blow-ups.
You're horrible. I'm not. I'm better.
An exclusive interview with a finalist who almost never made it.
That was the second to the last wristband.
American Idol Rewind.
Sunday at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Big write-up today in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Kyle McClellan's done a terrific job early on. He's from St. Louis, went to Hazelwood West High School, 25th round pick back in 2002. And he'll face Ronnie Cedeno.
Gone through 2 elbow surgeries. Only 23 years old. Supposedly has 4 good pitches that he throws for strikes.
Ronnie has been seeing the ball very well. Johnson at first, 2 outs, and a 2-1 Cardinal lead. Ronnie's 5 for his last 10. Here's the pitch. He popped it up. Molina, however, will just have to watch that one land in the seats. "13 RBIs over his last 11 games. And they haven't all been starts. Well, you touch on it all the time when we see the Cardinals. You want to get a big lead down there at first base, try to score on an extra base hit, but you have to be careful because Yadier Molina already has 2 pickoffs.
And he loves to showcase that throwing arm. Especially when the hitter is behind in the count. When that count, like now, runs to 1-2 or 0-2, those are situations where he'll call for a pitch out of the strike zone away from a right-handed hitter and just step into it almost like a pitch out and fire that pickoff down to first base.
The 1-2 is away. Bob Howery will be the next Cubs pitcher, and it's going to be a tough bottom of the 7th. Ankiel, Pujols, and Gloss. Two pitch, popped out of the middle, a little high. Full count.
Look, an umpire's balk right there. Mike Everett looked like he was starting to get himself into position to get that right arm in the air, and then when the ball popped out of Molina's mid, he just held the call. Well, that would have been a high strike call. A slight flinch there by Everett.
Johnson goes on a 3-2 pitch. Broken bat, flare. Shallow center base hit. Johnson to third. Ankiel will toss it back in to Pujols near the mound. Inning still alive. And it's Alfonso Soriano coming up. It's a 3rd broken bat blooper into center in this ballgame.
Well placed. The bat died a hero. Reed Johnson hustling around to third base. Cubs have him on the corner for Alfonso Soriano once again up at the plate with an RBI opportunity.
And this will be the 3rd consecutive at bat for Soriano with 2 outs, rather with runners in scoring position. He bounced into a fielder's choice to knock in a run in the 3rd inning, and then he struck out with a runner at 2nd and 2 outs in the 5th. So he looks for his first hit since coming off the DL. He's 0 for 7. And this is a big spot. The Cubs are down 2-1. Here's the pitch. Ball 1. Well, they really squeezed the gaps in the outfield. In particular, Schumacher pulled way around toward left center. The 1-0. Breaking ball strike.
It's a curveball very similar to the one we saw from Adam Wainwright to start this ball game. That 12-6 straight over the top.
Well, it's rare to see a center fielder playing a little left of dead center, and to see the left fielder so far in left center. There's not a lot of room between Schumacher and Ankiel.
I'm surprised they're giving Alfonso Soriano that much room down the left field line. We know he likes to pull the ball. If he gets out and around one of those breaking balls, he could run all day if he hits it in the corner.
The 1-1 pitch off the end of the bat, foul.
But once again, we talked about it a couple innings ago. You position your defense. It's up to the pitcher to execute his pitches to force that hitter to hit the ball into the teeth of the defense. Well, you see the hits by direction would certainly indicate Alfonso's a dead pull hitter.
And he struck him out. So McClellan strikes out Soriano to end the inning. And the Cubs lead 2. They'll get up and stretch here in St. Louis. The pitch was down in the dirt, and Soriano couldn't get it. 2-1 Cardinals.
Rough meets smooth. 4-wheel independent suspension, the Ridgeline, built by Honda.
For every romantic moment, there's a way it can be interrupted.
Emergency home repair. A surprise visit home from college. Unexpected guests.
But guys with ED can relax because there's Cialis. Cialis is the only erectile dysfunction tablet clinically proven to both go to work fast in as little as 30 minutes for some men and work up to 36 hours. No other ED tablet can do both.
Sure, Cialis can work fast, but having up to 36 hours is a great option.
And with Cialis, I can respond to her only when we're finally ready.
Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
Why ask your doctor about Cialis? Because when the moment is right, you can be ready.
Why do you insist on following so closely? Is this a parade?
Enough help for one day?
Tailgating this guy.
A clean, comfortable room for the lowest price of any national chain is always nearby.
I don't know, it's unnerving.
Motel 6. We'll leave the light on for you.
What are you doing? Is that the Grand Slam? No.
Introducing the Build Your Own Grand Slam. Choose any 4 items and make it your slam, starting at $5.99.
Danny, real breakfast, 24/7.
Funniest Pets and People, weekdays at 6 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
It's been a big bullpen night for Lou Piniella after the starter went just 2/3 of an inning. And now Bob Howery becomes the 4th relief pitcher after Wirtz, Lieber, and Marshall.
And you mentioned it half an inning ago, Len. Tough part of the lineup for the Cardinals. Ankiel, Pujols, Gloss, and Ludwig. Looking at Bob Howery's career numbers against those guys, Ricky Ankiel with just 1 previous plate appearance, he walked. Troy Gloss 2 for 9 in their days in the American League when they hooked up. Albert Pujols 3 for 7 against Bob Howery with a home run.
And a couple of changes for the Cubs. Get to those here after this first pitch. It's a strike. Mike Fontenot's into play second. Mark DeRosa went from second to third. Ramirez is out, which leads you to believe that hand or wrist, the left hand or wrist, is bothering him after getting hit by a pitch in his last at bat. That one kicked up on Derek at the last second. Fontenot got there, but no throw. Well, that looked like it was a true roller, and right at the last second it came up, and it'll be an error.
Nasty hop there. The ball hit in that area where the base runners take their lead off of first base. You can see it's a little bit chewed up right there, and it looked like that ball hit right in that area. Derek Lee wasn't able to make the play cleanly. Fontenot got over there to back it up, but Bob Howery could not beat Ankiel to the bag.
Strike one. A kick and the next pitch. Popped him up. Short left. And Soriano couldn't get it. Everybody's safe. I don't know if he called off Tario, but Ryan kind of peeled off. See, Ryan's looking at Alfonso thinking he's going to get it, and he didn't. And Alfonso grimaced a little bit.
It kind of landed awkwardly out there on the turf in left field. Right there, that left leg kind of grabbed. He slid a little bit, took out a chunk of turf.
Trouble with a capital T. First and second, no outs. Swing and a miss. An error and a single on a ball that should have been caught.
I'll tell you, Len, that's why organizations, they want these players coming back from the disabled list to go play some ball games under game conditions, under the lights, with another team on the field, rather than just take fungos off the bat from a coach early in the afternoon. I mean, we all know what Alfonso Soriano is capable of doing, and at some point this year he'll reach that level and he'll carry this team for weeks at a time on his shoulders. But right now he is not ready to play baseball. It's going to take a while, and it's tough to do against major league competition, to play yourself back into game shape.
And he doesn't look comfortable right now. 1-2. He missed the minimum 15 days with the right calf strain. Should also mention Reed Johnson stayed in and now playing center after batting for PA in the top of the inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Big strikeout.
Big out right there. With the ground ball, you have an opportunity to get out of this inning unscathed. Good elevated fastball this time from Bob Howery. Normally he tries to work down around the knees or lower. That time he scooted it up just below the letters and gets the swinging strike from a good low ball hitter chasing a pitch up out of the zone. And Ronnie Cedeno hit for the pitcher spot. And Mike Fontenot came in to play second base. I'm having a little trouble understanding why Ronnie just didn't stay in the ball game at second base, and you put the pitcher in Aramis Ramirez spot, and then you could pinch hit Mike Fontenot for that pitcher spot if necessary. But this seems kind of odd that Cedeno hit, got a base hit, and then did not stay in the ball game when Aramis had to come out.
And again, DeRosa went from second to third. And we hope it's just precautionary and that it's not serious. He got hit pretty hard in that left wrist area. Blocked neatly by Soto. Ankiel reached on an error. Pujols then popped one up, and Soriano couldn't get it. Gloss struck out swinging, and now it's Ludwig. The Cubs want 2 to get out of the inning. In that game in Atlanta tonight, the Braves shut out the Reds 2-0. Tim Hudson went the distance, a 3-hitter, to improve to 4-2. Edinson Volquez suffered his first loss. He pitched well. 2 runs, 1 earned in 6 innings. Soto with a quick chat. Pirates trying to cool off the Nationals, who have won 4 straight. It's 10-4 Pittsburgh in the 8th inning. The Astros lead Milwaukee 6-4. They're in the top of the 8th in Houston. The Giants with a run in the 10th, leading Philadelphia 5-4.
Chase Utley with his 12th in that ball game.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Aaron Rowand against his former team with a go-ahead home run in the 10th. Fukudome is getting set. Ankiel's going to tag and not test the arm of Fukudome.
Well, I'll tell you what, Len, the way this ball game started out, we had our doubts, but too much good stuff tonight, brought to you by AM/PM. How about this Cubs bullpen? John Lieber, 3 2/3 inning of shutout baseball. Sean Marshall came in, got his man. This was a big out for Sean Marshall in relief of John Lieber. Got the swinging strike. And then Bob Howery with a big strikeout right there of Troy Gloss with a couple of runners on base, looking to escape damage here with 2 outs in the inning.
You know, in some ways, Howery's now trying to get his 5th out of the inning. Had a ground ball that kicked up on Derek Lee for an error. He got Pujols to pop up. But Terrio and Soriano could not get there. He struck out Gloss, got Ludwig on a pop fly, and now it's Molina. Soriano went in. Now he goes back, but that ball hit very high, and he didn't catch it. Hit the track, bounced out, and the Cardinals get 1. The only good thing there is Pujols stops at third because it went out of play. 3-1 St. Louis. Alfonso came in a little bit, and Pujols the runner at third, Molina at second after the RBI double. Fouled back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Boy, now this becomes a huge out in the ball game right here. Cesar Torres trailing by only 2 runs. The Cubs still have 6 outs left to go, and we know with their offensive firepower they can certainly score enough runs to win this game. You just have to escape this inning, make them hit it somewhere other than left.
Called strike 3. Well, that was a long inning for Bob Howery and the Cubs. He gave up an unearned run. It's now 3-1 as we go to the 8th.
I know I have high cholesterol.
Is that the Grand Slam?
No.
Introducing the Build Your Own Grand Slam. Choose any 4 items and make it your slam, starting at $5.99.
Denny, real breakfast, 24/7.
Whacked Out Sports, Sunday at 5 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Time to have a ball with our friends at the Illinois Lottery. Take me out to the ball game by the honor students at the St. Louis School of Music. Nicely done, kids.
Well, it's not a school night, so they're up late.
And they all got along this year. That's tonight's Have a Ball. Thank you very much to the Illinois Lottery.
Ryan Franklin trying to set up for Jason Isringhausen. 2, 3, and 4 for the Cubs. Now 2 and 3, the usual Terrio and Lee. 4 is Fontenot. Aramis Ramirez taken out, we assume, after getting hit by that pitch in the 6th inning. Came back out, played defense. Easy fly for Ludwig. Here's Derek. He has grounded out all 3 times. To second, to third, and to the shortstop. His average has gone down 10 points from 360 to 350.
And once again, defensively, just I'd call it a mini shift. Brendan Ryan at second base plays a little bit further up the middle and deep, and as Torres goes about 3 steps toward the hole, everybody else playing straight up. At least in the infield. They shade him a little bit the opposite way in the outfield, but you can see the shortstop into the hole a little bit, second baseman up the middle a little bit, corner infielders in a straightaway position. The outfield shades him a couple of steps to the opposite field.
The Cubs have been out hit 9-5. Got a piece of Molina. The error on Derek, his 4th of the year. And that allowed the Cardinals to get an unearned run. It's been a rough night for Alfonso Soriano. He does have an RBI, but he's 0 for 4. And a couple of misplays out and left. The next 0-2 pitch. Barely missed.
I mean, not to belabor the point, Len, talking about a rehab session in the minor leagues, get a few games under your belt, playing under the lights, because if you think about it, every workout Alfonso Soriano has had before returning to the lineup has been in the daytime. Even the workouts they have before a night game happen early in the afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it makes a huge difference when the sun goes down and the lights come up in a big league ballpark.
Then batting practice tonight. Not under the lights. Well, if the lights were on, they certainly wouldn't have taken effect by 5:40. Yeah, that's a really good point.
I think sometimes, especially a veteran player like Fonzie, and I'm certainly not speaking for him, but I think they look at it as almost kind of a demotion, something that maybe is beneath them. I don't need that. It's not meant as a form of punishment or indicating that we don't think you're a good player. It's because that's what you have to do to prepare to play a game at the big league level.
Well, and the other thing, from his perspective, he wants to be back on the field in a Cubs uniform as fast as he possibly can. He didn't miss more than one day that was necessary, the minimum 15.
And it's not unusual. It's not unique to Fonzie. Most big league players, especially anybody with any time at all, it's not unusual to refuse assignment to the minor leagues.
Now, didn't Derek have one game and then he came back when he had the wrist injury?
It seems like, yeah, it seems like that's right.
Back in 2006. We thought he was going to be down there for several days. He had one game and said, that's it. I'm coming back. So you're right. It's not just Alfonso. The 3-2 to Lee. There's a base hit, and the tying run will come up. Now it's Fontenot.
Now this is the at bat right here that probably would have been Darrell Ward had Cedeno stayed in the game after he pinch hit, and the pitcher would have gone into Ramirez's spot right here. So basically you could have picked your pinch hitter in this spot. Certainly it could have been Mike Fontenot, could have been Darrell Ward.
Mike went 4 for 4 on the homestand with a double, 3 RBIs, a walk, and a run. Hit hard but foul. Sellout crowd tonight here at Busch Stadium, 45,077. We've seen a lot of Cubs blue in the audience. And another base hit. Derek Lee to second. He'll stop there. Fontenot in a good stretch. 5 for his last 5.
Nice quick swing by Mike Fontenot right back up the middle of the field. Like a lot of left-handed hitters, he's a real good low ball hitter. That pitch down around the bottom of the kneecaps and lines it right back up the middle of the field.
Cubs are looking for a big base hit here with 2 in scoring position. Ball 1. Cubs are currently 1 for 7 in this spot. Here's the pitch. Soto on deck.
Giro's been a little out front of pitches in this ball game tonight. He's 0 for 3. His best shot is that drive to the gap in right center. Breaking ball from Franklin with a base open. He's not too willing to just challenge Mark DeRosa with a fastball in this situation. Had such a good swing on that curveball his last time up back in the 7th inning. Molina certainly was sitting behind the plate for that pitch. See how they attack him this time. Another breaking ball.
That's a fair ball. Gloss gets to third base before Fontenot does, and the inning comes to an end. Soto jumped on that first pitch, trying to double down the line, but Gloss made the play. Not that difficult to play. And the Cubs leave him loaded.
No. Guys, let's talk commitment. Relax, talking about beer. Budweiser has stayed true to the same recipe for over 130 years, through 5 generations. They could have cut corners, but they didn't, because they won't sacrifice quality or great taste. 130 years. Now that's commitment.
I love commitment.
So fine that I really want to make you mine.
Rugged meets spacious. The 5-passenger Ridgeline, built by Honda.
Did you know that 1 in 5 American adults has genital herpes? That's because so few people know they're spreading it. My patients really try to be careful, but many are surprised to learn they can still spread herpes between outbreaks. So you can give herpes to your partner at any time, even without signs or symptoms. The CDC recommends daily medication as part of a plan to reduce the risk of spreading genital herpes. Once daily Valtrex is the only medicine proven to reduce that risk.
Always use safer sex practices with daily therapy, which also includes avoiding sexual contact when you get or think you're getting an outbreak. There's no cure for herpes. Even with treatment, it's possible to spread herpes. Valtrex is for adults with healthy immune systems. To avoid a potentially serious complication, tell your doctor if your immune system isn't normal because of bone marrow or kidney transplant or advanced HIV disease.
I have genital herpes.
And I still don't.
And now we're doing more to help keep it that way.
Ask your doctor about once daily Valtrex and save up to $10 on every 30 caplets at Valtrex.com.
Reno 911 tonight at 1 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Well, we're proud to present once again Cubs Forever on WGN TV. Tomorrow night beginning at 7 o'clock Central Time. Cubs Forever, sponsored by National City, celebrating 60 years of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. You can buy the book Cubs Forever at TriumphBooks.com. Bob Howery will face pinch hitter Chris Duncan. Chad Fox had gotten up briefly as the Cubs were batting in the top of this 8th inning. Duncan will be followed by Ryan and Schumacher.
Duncan 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter this year.
He's the son of pitching coach Dave Duncan. In there 1-1. Well, the Phillies won it, Bob. They got 2 in the bottom of the 10th to beat the Giants 6-5. Check out how they won it. Mitch and Rowan hit the go-ahead home run. Pat Burrell with a game-winning 2-run shot. Lee in foul territory. 1 out. Well, you're never out of a ball game at Citizens Bank Park.
Well, that's
now
for
with
sure.
that lineup. It was off Brian Wilson. The pitch to Ryan. Ball 1. Houston beat Milwaukee 7-4. Braun and Cameron with home runs. Number 1 for Cameron. Those were the Milwaukee Blasts. Hunter Pence hit 2. Miguel Tejada, Lance Berkman, and Carlos Lee all went deep for the Astros. The The Mets lead Arizona 4-2 in the top of the 4th at Chase Field. Rockies lead the Dodgers 3-1. They're in the top of the 6th. Todd Helton with his 3rd. That game being played in Denver. One bouncer, DeRosa. 2 outs. In the AL, Boston shutting out Tampa Bay. They're in the bottom of the 4th, 2-0. Moss with his 2nd home run for the Red Sox. Popped up by Schumacher. DeRosa comes over along with Soto, and it's a souvenir. Two down here in the 8th. In the 9th, Jason Isringhausen likely will pitch against Reed Johnson, a pinch hitter, which would likely be Darrell Ward, and then Alfonso Soriano. The 0-1 hit foul. Russ Springer also up. Maybe if the Cardinals add on here. For some more action in the American League, Minnesota pounding Detroit 11-1, bottom of the 8th. I mentioned Brandon Moss with a home run for Boston tonight. Baltimore leading in Anaheim 3-1, middle of the 3rd. Way up in the air. Mike Fontenot makes a catch. Here comes the 9th. The Cubs trail by 2.
Aquafina has a 7-step purification process that removes the stuff you find in other waters. Here's how. We filter it once. Then we filter it again. Then we purify it. And filter it again. And filter it again. And filter it again. And then purify it again. So all you taste is pure water. Aquafina. Purity guaranteed.
For every romantic moment, there's a way it can be interrupted.
Emergency home repair.
A surprise visit home from college.
Unexpected guests.
But guys with ED can relax because there's Cialis. Cialis is the only erectile dysfunction tablet clinically proven to both go to work fast in as little as 30 minutes for some men and work up to 36 hours. No other ED tablet can do both.
Sure, Cialis can work fast, but having up to 36 hours is a great option.
And with Cialis, I can respond to her only when we're finally ready.
Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
Why ask your doctor about Cialis? Because when the moment is right, you can be ready.
When a terrorist escapes, his deadly new target becomes clear.
We're going to take out downtown Los Angeles.
Next 24, Saturday at 12:30 a.m. Eastern.
They've been gone way too long. I'm going home.
Hey guys, wait up, I'm coming.
Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Saturday at 3 on the Superstation.
Time to check out tonight's Nissan drive of the game. We go back to the 5th inning with 1 out. Felix Piet, one of 2 extra base hits in this game. Giovanni Soto also doubled earlier in the ball game. Hopefully the real drive of the game is upcoming here in the 9th inning. But for the time being, that's tonight's Nissan drive of the game.
Been a little bit of a struggle at times for Jason Isringhausen. You saw the ERA of 6. He is tied for first in the National League with his 9 saves, 10 short of 300 in his career. Got to get somebody on base to bring the tying run to the plate. Johnson, then the pinch hitter Ward, and Soriano. Well, you know, Alfonso wants another shot at redemption here tonight. Here we go. Corner man in, strike one. A couple of other scores from the American League. The White Sox were shut out at Toronto 2-0. Markham over Burley in that one. The Yankees beat Seattle 5-1. Chin-Ming Wong is now 6-0. He beat Eric Bedard. Texas leading at Oakland in the 4th 2-0. Pretty much caught up to date. Did that hit him? I think it did. He's trying to sell it, and he's going to go to first. Crowd is booing, and Tony La Russa is going to walk out, and he wants to know if that was on a swing. He wants an appeal, and Tim McClellan said no.
Yeah, if you swing at a pitch and get hit with it, it's a swing. Tony was trying to say that this was a check swing on the part of Reed Johnson, and when the ball hits you on a swing, it counts as a swing. That got him on the right forearm, I believe. Painful way to start the inning, but a good way nonetheless.
I'll tell you what, you go back to yesterday, what happened to Kerry Wood?
There you go.
He hit the first batter of the inning, and he gave up 3. He hit Craig Counsell with a cutter. So we'll see if the Cubs can do some damage here. And guess what the score was? 3-1. And guess who had the big hit? The left fielder. Well, we'll see.
It's a convergence. I love it.
Yeah. The 1-0 pitch to Ward. Reed Johnson takes second base without an attempt from Molina.
Isringhausen doesn't pay much attention. They weren't even holding him on over there. I assume they didn't give him a stolen base.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
that's the old DI, defensive indifference. What if he steals home? That's still defensive indifference? The 1-1. Breaking ball, strike. Isringhausen, the all-time Cardinal leader in saves with 214. Here's 1-2. Johnson's not going to test Molina. Not in this spot. Down 2.
Well, the Cubs have toyed with the old cliche about don't make the first or last out at third base. I think Reed Johnson learned his lessons from some of the mistakes that have been made over the last couple of weeks. That ball got a considerable distance away from Yadier Molina on the third base side, and Reed Johnson had a nice secondary lead. Look at him popping off the bag. He thought about it, but if you're not sure you can make it 100% of the time, you don't go. If Darrell Ward should happen to reach base here, we may see Jason Marquis come on as a pinch runner. Lou has pretty much once again exhausted his bench other than Henry Blanco. Big swing by Darrell Ward, falls to a knee.
Lou was chatting between innings with Marquis, probably about that very thing. It's 2-2 on Ward. Here's the next one, and he went. Make him throw.
It's a curveball in the dirt from Jason Isringhausen. Gets the check swing from Darrell Ward. As frustrating as that is to strike out on a pitch in the dirt, you got to run down that first baseline, force that catcher to make a throw. You never know what might happen. The Arizona Diamondbacks in their expansion season won a ball game with 2 outs in the 9th inning, trailing by 2 runs when the ball got away from the catcher on a strike 3, and he threw it down the right field line, paving the way for a big inning with 2 outs.
Here's Soriano. Runner at second, 1 out. He almost showed bunt there. That pulled Gloss in, at least momentarily. Isringhausen really missed his target on that pitch. 2-0. Kerry Wood getting ready. He hopes for the bottom of the 9th. And the WGN News getting ready. They don't mind waiting a few extra minutes. There's a drive deep to left for Soriano. This one back near the bullpen. Gone! We're tied. Redemption time for Soriano. It's 3-3. On a 2-0. He ties it up. He has all 3 RBIs tonight.
But rarely in this game do you get a chance to have a redeemer. And it's even more rare to come through when you get that opportunity. But Alfonso Soriano just mashed a 2-run homer to left off the Cardinals closer to tie this game up.
We're back to even. Terrio pushes a bunt. Isringhausen with the flip, and Pujols just got out of there. Might have been stepped on. They did get the out. Boy, that was a play by Isringhausen. Terrio almost reached first base. Let's go back to the home run swing to tie it by Soriano.
Oh, hanging cutter. Oh, had to feel good for Sori. They wanted that ball down low and away. It cut right over the heart of the plate. Yeah.
Dave Duncan heading out. I think Terrio stepped on Albert Pujols, who really didn't have time to put his foot to the side of the base. I think his foot was actually on top of the base. It's not where you want to put it as a first baseman, but he didn't have much of a choice.
Well, that was a heck of a play by Isringhausen to get over there. A nearly perfect bunt. A little bit harder. It gets past that pitcher and is an easy base hit, but Isringhausen with the barehanded shovel toss all in one motion. The ball clearly beats Terrio, but you're absolutely right. He had that left foot right in the middle of first base. Nowhere for the Riot to go, but right on top of his foot.
Well, Kerry Wood's been cranking it up, and he's still warming.
Isringhausen doesn't appear to have the same kind of movement on that cut fastball that we've seen in the past. That used to be a wicked pitch for him. Big curveball that time.
You know, in this spot on the road, a lot of times you'll get another guy up, save your closer, but with Kerry already ready, looks like Lou's going to go to him even if the game is tied. And then he can use Marmol later in a safe spot.
Well, I think given Kerry Wood's injury history, you don't want to get him up, get him heated up, ready to go, and then sit him back down and then try to get him up again maybe an inning or two later. Once you get him loosened up and ready to go, you might as well bring him into the ball game.
Well, we look ahead to the bottom of the 9th. Ankiel, Pujols, Gloss. Let's see what Derek gets on a 3-1. He gets ball 4. And the Cardinal fans are letting Isringhausen hear their displeasure. Just another boring night of Cubs baseball here on WGN Sports. Soriano with a game-tying 2-run homer. And this inning is still alive for Fontenot. Too bad Terrio was thrown out. Could have had a couple men on with only 1 out. This is quite a game, baseball. What a rough start for Soriano the last 2 days. He gets another chance in the 9th. Ties it up. Kerry Wood yesterday blew the save, took the loss. He's going to get right back in there in a big spot tonight. You just never know. And I think, Bob, that's why when fans ask why players don't get more down when they have a bad performance during the season, it's a game that really fosters equilibrium and balance. You just can't get too up and down. It'll drive you crazy.
Oh, absolutely. You can't afford to get on that roller coaster. It's enough of a roller coaster ride as it is, but if you allow your emotions to go up and down with your fortunes on the field, it'll drive you crazy in a hurry. You just have to realize over the course of a baseball season, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to make things happen, and if tonight's not your night, maybe tomorrow night will be. If the first at bat of the ball game wasn't good, maybe the second one will be. You struggled defensively early in the game, maybe you'll have an opportunity late to do something offensively, and that was the case with Soriano tonight.
And the best example this season has to be Giovanni Soto. Last weekend he struck out 8 straight times. 5 in 1 game. Came back, had a big series against Milwaukee, including a 2-3-run homer performance. You just can't let it bother you. You have to move on. 2-2 on Fontenot. There goes Derek Lee, and it's hit foul. And, you know, Lou's emotional. He got a little testy with one of the questions after the game yesterday, but he was the same guy today as we see every single day. You let it go, and he let it go. You move on. We'll see if Lee runs again. Long pause by Isringhausen in the set position. He is running, and it's hit foul yet again.
I don't think it was so much the question or the person asking the question. It's the way it was asked. When you ask a manager, did you think about? That's all a manager does during the course of the ball game. You think about every possible option. What could happen? What can I do? Who do I have available to combat who they're going to bring in from the bullpen? You see Ramos Ramirez back on the bench. Hopefully he'll be okay and back in there tomorrow. But you don't ask a manager, did you ever think about? Well, of course he thought about it.
Solid at bat already for Fontenot. He's battling. Lee's not running this time, and it's hit foul yet again.
Maybe the better question would be, why did you choose to leave Soriano in the game in left field when he's just returning from the disabled list? But it's not my job to go down there to the post-game news conferences. But just for future reference, don't ever ask a head coach or a manager, did you ever think about?
They are making Isringhausen work. This will be pitch number 25. First a throw. So he has blown his third save in 12 tries. There goes Lee. Here's a throw to second base. Save. He's in. Cardinals were ready to head off the field. I thought he got in. And so did Mike DeMuro.
Now with a full head of steam, D. Lee slid right over second base, had to reach back and grab it with his hand. I thought he beat that throw rather easily. Boy, Isringhausen is molasses slow to home plate. Tag was up high, looked like he had that left leg on the bag. Not the greatest sliding technique in the world, but safe nonetheless.
That could be a big one. It's 3-2 on Fontenot. The pitch. It's high. He walked him. Oh, remember what we talked about when this inning started? Yesterday, Kerry Wood hit the first batter of the ninth, and the left fielder came up with a big hit. That's exactly what has happened tonight. Quite a coincidence. And Tony La Russa is going to pull his closer. Ron Vallone, who's now in his 45th season in the major leagues, it seems like. He's been with just about every team, too. He's going to face Kosuke Fukudome. Boy, the Cardinal fans are letting Isringhausen have it. It's 3-3 in the ninth.
There's a new joke going around. Have you heard it? What is the 5 fingers say to the face? What? Slap! Cheers to Bogart!
Don't interrupt me, honey.
I appreciate what you're showing me right now.
On the marquee. Big letters.
And you can put it on the board. Yeah. Bring it up. Bring it up. It gets out. A home run.
Well, I want to feel that hand with somebody.
Another night of Cubs baseball. It's 3-3 in the ninth. Soriano tying it with a 2-run homer. Ron Vallone in to face Kosuke Fukudome. 2 on. Ball 1. This is Ron Vallone's 11th major league club. One shy of Mike Morgan's major league record of 12 teams. Seattle, San Diego, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Colorado, Houston, Pittsburgh, Florida, the Yankees, and now St. Louis. One and one. Lee and Fontenot with back-to-back walks. A slicing fly ball, left field corner, and it'll be caught by Schumacher on a nice play. Pregame was trying to give the Cubs the lead. As it is, they do tie it. It's 3-3.
On the next Chappelle Show, it's a super fight with super freak Rick James. He goes toe-to-toe, and we're there blow for blow on the next Chappelle Show.
Tonight at midnight on Superstation WGN.
Perfect beer deserves the perfect pour. Right down the middle, releasing all the flavor. Perfect.
Well, call me a perfectionist.
Did you know that 1 in 5 American adults has genital herpes? That's because so few people know they're spreading it. My patients really try to be careful, but many are surprised to learn they can still spread herpes between outbreaks. So you can give herpes to your partner at any time, even without signs or symptoms. The CDC recommends daily medication as part of a plan to reduce the risk of spreading genital herpes. Once daily Valtrex is the only medicine proven to reduce that risk.
Always use safer sex practices with daily therapy, which also includes avoiding sexual contact when you get or think you're getting an outbreak. There's no cure for herpes. Even with treatment, it's possible to spread herpes. Valtrex is for adults with healthy immune systems. To avoid a potentially serious complication, tell your doctor if your immune system isn't normal because of bone marrow or kidney transplant or advanced HIV disease.
I have genital herpes,
And I still don't.
and now we're doing more to help keep it that way.
Ask your doctor about once daily Valtrex and save up to $10 on every 30 caplets at Valtrex.com.
This is Budweiser's new signature glass. It's designed to release the perfect amount of natural carbonation and flavor with every sip. What do you think of that?
I think it's time for a little research.
New ball game. Soriano with a game-tying 2-run homer, and Kosuke Fukudome almost gave the Cubs the lead.
A slicing ball down that left field line. The wind was pushing it further away from Schumacher. There's not very much foul territory, as you can clearly see down that left and right field line, but nice running catch by the Cardinal left fielder.
And that was a fair ball when it was caught. Rick Ankiel off Kerry Wood, high in the air. Fukudome is on the warning track.
Breathe. Breathe. We didn't miss that by much.
One pitch, one out.
Yeah, that's just a can of corn. Ankiel jumping on the first thing he sees from Kerry Wood. It's a Main Street fastball. Got under it just a little bit. It was a mile in the air, chasing Fukudome all the way back to the warning track.
He tried to go in on Craig Counsell yesterday with a 2-run lead with a cut fastball. He hit him. And he goes with a slider against Albert Pujols. Three tie. That's a strike that got away from Soto.
Well, umpires love that.
You rarely see that happen.
I think Gio just got a little ahead of himself trying to frame that pitch there. May have closed his glove just a split second too soon. Looked like a fastball, breaking ball actually on the inside corner. He just never got the glove on that one. Jeez.
The kick and the 2-1. Slider strike. Terry's trying to get this ball game into extras. Loss on deck. Here's the 3-2. Little tapper. Soto got out quickly and made it look easy. Nicely done.
Not as easy a play as Giovanni Soto made it look. That little tapper out on the mound. First of all, you have to recover from the position you were in trying to receive that pitch. Get rid of that mask. Bare hands that ball and throws on it. Plenty of time to get Pujols.
Ross is fouled out, flied out, and struck out twice. He's been with the Angels, Diamondbacks, Blue Jays, and now the Redbirds. The 0-1 pitch popped him up. Terrio goes out. Somebody please catch it. It's going to be Terrio, and the Cubs will get into extras. They are 4-0 on the road in extra innings. We will go to the 10th. It's 3-3.
Did you know that 1 in 5 American adults has genital herpes? That's because so few people know they're spreading it. My patients really try to be careful, but many are surprised to learn they can still spread herpes between outbreaks. So you can give herpes to your partner at any time, even without signs or symptoms. The CDC recommends daily medication as part of a plan to reduce the risk of spreading genital herpes. Once daily Valtrex is the only medicine proven to reduce that risk.
Always use safer sex practices with daily therapy, which also includes avoiding sexual contact when you get or think you're getting an outbreak. There's no cure for herpes. Even with treatment, it's possible to spread herpes. Valtrex is for adults with healthy immune systems. To avoid a potentially serious complication, tell your doctor if your immune system isn't normal because of bone marrow or kidney transplant or advanced HIV disease.
I have genital herpes.
And I still don't.
And now we're doing more to help keep it that way.
Ask your doctor about once daily Valtrex and save up to $10 on every 30 caplets at Valtrex.com.
I know I have high cholesterol, but I didn't know it may have led to my erectile dysfunction. Then my doctor told me about Levitra.
Having diabetes changed my life, but I didn't know it might lead to ED. So I asked my doctor about Levitra. He said it's made for guys with ED.
If you're a guy with high cholesterol or diabetes, Levitra is proven to help treat your ED.
Ask your doctor if you are healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems or are on alpha blocker therapy, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision or hearing, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away.
Levitra worked for me. Maybe it can work for you.
Over 1 million guys have already taken Levitra.
Why wait? Ask your doctor if Levitra is right for you.
Kerry Wood and Larry Rothschild, so it looks like that's it for Kerry. 1-2-3 ninth inning. He made 9 pitches, 6 were strikes. Ron Vallone against Mark DeRosa. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. Got him on the inner third for strike 3. Well, we wouldn't have said it last year, but this year the Cubs want to be in extras. They've been really good. 4-0 on the road. 4th extra inning affair for the Cardinals here in 08. Soto bounces to the third baseman, Gloss. Remember what happened in the first inning. Lou Piniella pulled Rich Hill after just 2 outs. You want to win this game, Bob, but you want to win it sooner than later, because the bullpen has taken on a lot tonight. Marmol and Fox are up. And John Lieber, what a performance for him tonight.
He was huge. 3 2/3 inning of shutout baseball. And as you saw, Fox and Marmol warming up in that Cubs bullpen. That's it, other than starting pitchers. And as far as position players go, Henry Blanco the only one available.
And you don't want to stretch Chad Fox too much. He had some tricep soreness in spring training, and he has an elbow that's been operated on a few times. Broken bat, foul. Reed Johnson's lost a few of those bats this week.
They got a bad order this week. I'll tell you, that's about the 4th or 5th bat we've seen just explode exactly the way that one did.
Henry Blanco, the last Cub position player available on the bench. He's on deck. We've seen Fontenot, who's in there. We've seen Cedeno, Ward, Johnson with an out. I thought it was going to get down, but Ludwig was able to make the catch as he sprawled out. So it's still 3-3, middle of the 10th.
Just this room, wall to wall in teal.
Exactly.
And, you know, if you got a little extra carpet lying around, there might be a little something extra for you. Honey.
I'll see what I have.
Hey, you're home early. What do you think?
Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming.
Very easy, honey.
Bad pizza driving you mad? Looking for good food and good times? Then here's what you do.
I want to hear about it now.
Order 3 or more 10-inch one-topping pizzas for Domino's for just $4 each. It's the Domino's 4-4-4 deal. Then watch The Cosby Show and Sister Sister weekday afternoons beginning at 4 Eastern on the Superstation. Brought to you in part by Domino's Pizza. You got 30 minutes.
There are still miracles.
When 3 pets are left behind,
Something's really wrong. They've been gone way too long.
Wake up and smell the kibble. They dumped us.
they take fate into their own paws
I'm going home.
Hey, guys, wait up. I'm coming.
and set out to find their family.
Home is just over that mountain.
Wow. I hope you know what you're doing. Wow. Yes.
Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Saturday at 3 on the Superstation.
Bottom of the 10th inning. It's a 3-3 tie. Well, this is a wonderful story. And I'll tell you, Bob, I really didn't think we would see this again. Chad Fox, at age 37, will make his first major league appearance since April 25th, 2005. He doesn't want to think about that performance because he walked off in a lot of pain. He thought his career was over. He was a Cub at the time. It was the 25th pitch of his relief outing, and he then went 3 years without pitching. His arm felt good over the winter. He was working with a high school pitcher at a sports complex and thought to himself, my arm feels good, so he called Jim Hendry. Felt some loyalty to the Cubs organization, said my arm feels good, and Jim sent Jim Crawford, the Cubs scouts, to check on Chad Fox, who pitched in front of about 10 or 12 teams, and then he quickly signed with the Cubs. Made 1 spring training appearance, had some tricep soreness, didn't push it. And I talked to Jim today, and he said, you know, it would have been very easy for Chad at some point to say, look, if you don't want me, release me. But he took his time. He knew the deal. He didn't push it. And here he is back in the major leagues in a 3-3 tie in the 10th. But he's been in big spots. He's pitched in the postseason. He has a World Series ring with the Florida Marlins. And he has, when he's on, one of the best sliders in baseball. 1-1 on Ryan Ludwig. Swing and a miss. There's that slider. He still has pretty good velocity, too. Henry Blanco's now catching.
And we would assume that involved a double switch. Fox will be hitting now in the 7 spot, previously occupied by Soto. Blanco hitting in the 9 spot and would be leading off in the top half of the 11th.
A drive to center. Reed Johnson over. Reaches up. Pulls it down.
Well, that ball appeared to take off a little bit on Reed Johnson out there just to the right of straightaway center field. Hit pretty good by Ludwig, but Reed able to run it down. Much easier catch than he made in Washington a week or so ago.
We might say that about every catch he makes for the rest of his life.
He'd have to do cartwheels with a blindfold on and catch the ball behind his back to top the one he made in Washington.
Here's Molina. Slider for a strike. Chad with a good fastball. The slider's his best pitch. He does have a changeup too. He was selected before the ball game from Double-A Tennessee. Lou only saw him pitch in a spring training game once. And he said to Larry Rothschild, he looks rusty, but I like his stuff and I like his demeanor. Johnson again. Came in about 3 steps.
Well, his fastball's been sitting right at 90, 91 so far in the ball game, and certainly for a guy who relies, as you mentioned, as heavily as he does on his slider, that's plenty of fastball as long as you keep it out of the middle of the plate.
Is Torres with 2 gone and nobody on. And in talking with Chad during spring training, I mean, this is it. This is his last shot. We don't know how the story ends for his major league career. He has gone through so much adversity with all kinds of arm trouble. Tommy John surgery twice. Well, he's just going to air it out and see what happens.
I think the biggest hurdle, I mean, obviously surgery and the recovery that takes to come back, but the biggest hurdle has to be between the ears. I mean, the last time Chad Fox threw a pitch in the big leagues, he experienced white hot pain. It has come a long way back past that point.
Hey, Reed Johnson again. He likes Chad Fox. 8-8-8 in the 10th inning. We'll go to the 11th, 3-3.
Next 24.
Now we're gonna have some fun.
As Jack interrogates a terrorist.
Where are the bombs?
The president attacks his home country.
The president's gone ahead with a missile strike.
4 minutes to impact, Mr. President.
But when the terrorist escapes.
Watch out! You're trying to flank us on both sides.
His deadly new target becomes clear.
We're going to take out downtown Los Angeles.
Next 24, Saturday at 12:30 a.m. Eastern on Superstation WGN. Superstation WGN is your new home for Reno 911.
The Reno Sheriff's Department is a perfect law enforcement engine.
And Chappelle Show.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face?
What? There's something funny going on every Friday night.
What?
Every Friday night. What? Every Friday night. Yeah! Chappelle Show and Reno 911. Friday night starting at midnight on Superstation WGN.
We talked earlier about what a roller coaster ride a Major League Baseball season is. This evening has been a roller coaster ride for Soriano. Misplayed that shallow pop-up. Another one got over his head into the seats for a ground rule double, but he atones with a blast of his own. 2-run home run in the top half of the ninth inning to tie this ball game up.
Ron Vallone is still on, and he works to Henry Blanco. Inning number 11. Jason Marquis, between innings, jogged out to the Cubs bullpen. Just in case.
That's why pitching coaches make all their schedules in pencil. Jason Marquis was the scheduled Sunday starter and may still be. But if needed, if they need a bunch of innings out of that bullpen the rest of this evening, I imagine we'll see Jason in the ball game.
I suppose it's possible they could call down there at some point during an offensive inning and tell him come in and pinch run.
Yeah, get his road work in, running back and forth from the bullpen to the dugout. I think he's going to throw him another one if I read the sign right. Going to go away that time with a little tail on the fastball. The one before was a cutter inside. Both work off the fastball sign. One moves one way, one moves the other way.
Terrio next. The 2-2 pitch. He has run it full. He's missed on the last three. You send the catcher on this one?
I don't think you can afford to. Not so much the fact that Henry doesn't run well, but the fact that Soriano has been known to swing through a few two-strike pitches. I don't think you can take the chance on starting Henry down there.
Yeah, a strikeout candidate. He doesn't run the 3-2, and there's the strikeout. Number 2 for Vallone.
Well, all fastballs safe for one changeup in the sequence. That one down low and away. Gets the swinging strike from Soriano. He had a couple of good pitches to hit in that sequence, but that last one was a tough pitcher strike.
Tough night for the Riot. Tried to bunt his way on in the ninth after the Soriano tying home run, and he was thrown out by Isringhausen. Henry dived back into first base. Matt Sinatra saying that happened to me many, many times when I played, kid.
Just in case he had any thoughts about taking off on first move, a very normal looking pickoff attempt at first base. I tell you, we laugh about it, but a good time to hit and run is when you have a slow runner at first base or a slow runner at the plate to try to stay out of the double play and keep the inning going. You start that runner, especially with a guy like Terrio at the plate, just to try to stay out of the double play and get Derek Lee to the plate in this inning.
Vallone is set. And he delivers. Ankiel under it. D. Lee with 2 outs.
Three for 6 with a homer lifetime against Ron Vallone.
Russ Springer. up in the bullpen. After an 0 for 3 start, Derek with a single and a walk, also a stolen base. Fontenot on deck. Aramis Ramirez left. Got hit by a pitch on the left wrist area back in the 6th inning. Didn't leave after that play. Taken out officially in the bottom of the 7th. Carlos Marmol in the bullpen. Chad Fox threw 12 pitches. And quite honestly, I just don't know what sort of restrictions were placed on Chad Fox for his first outing. Got the long sleeve shirt on, and Derek takes the walk. Well, with the lefty on deck, he wasn't going to give Derek anything good to hit.
Back in the 6th inning with a couple outs and nobody on base. Aramis Ramirez takes a fastball off that left wrist or forearm area. As you mentioned, Lenny, stayed in the ball game but had to come out later.
And we have not been told officially that that's why he left, but we assume that, which we're good at. I hate to do that too much, but that looked like it hurt.
That was the closest thing to an intentional walk you'll ever have. That was like a defensive indifference at bat right there. They just were not going to give Derek Lee anything close to the plate to hit in that situation with the left hand hitting Mike Fontenot on deck.
The only problem here I worry about an extra base hit is that Derek doesn't pass Henry Blanco. A 1-strike pitch blocked by Molina.
Solid arms across the Cardinal outfield. Probably the weakest would be Schumacher in left field, and Keel, a former pitcher, in center field. We know he's got a good arm, and Ludwig very strong and accurate in right field as well. It's going to take a well-placed base hit to score Henry from second base.
A bouncer on the right side. It's Brendan Ryan with a short throw, and the inning is over. The Cubs had a couple of base runners, but they don't score against Bologna. 3-3.
Bud Light is brewed to give you everything you want in a beer. Never-ending refreshment,